Good day, my plant foldies. This is Richie at Grow Folds, and today we'll be grocery store plant shopping at Kroger Marketplace in Frisco, Texas, right off of Custer Road. As always, please make sure you're hitting that like button and following me on Instagram at Grow Folds to get in direct contact with me, as well as subscribing to my YouTube channel for daily plant shopping videos. So today we're going to be going to this Kroger Marketplace. I haven't been here in a while, but I heard from a little birdie that they may actually be hosting some rare plants. Now, Kroger has been able to get a couple of really cool plants like that Monstera Thai constellation. We've been able to find some Florida ghost here, Philodendron Florida ghost. But as I walk in here, you can see that they've got some new items coming around. Father's Day is around the corner. You can see that they have a full display right over here. Really cool looking display. I love grocery stores for their displays. And you can see that if you're ever going to go plant shopping at a grocery store, all of their plants are going to be available in the floral section. You can see right here, they've got some blooming plants starting at $9.99. So we're just going to take a look at some of these plants. Like we've got some Gerbera Daisy. Now with Gerbera Daisy, these are in a nice little planter here. This is for $9.99. These daisies actually need to be grown out in a lot more light. It will not do very well indoors. So if you are going to grow these indoors, you want to make sure that you are providing it right next to a south-facing window. Same thing with Kalanchoe. I really like the look of Kalanchoe, especially the yellow blooms. You know, Kalanchoe, the floral versions, have so many different varieties of blooms, and they are readily available at a big box store, especially at a grocery store. And I like that this particular Kroger Marketplace has some really good plant merchandising. I've talked about that before, where, you know, it really just depends on your presentation for the types of plants that you have here. Like you can see right over here, we've got some beautiful Gerbera Daisy again. Really like the white daisies that we have right over here. It is an easy to care for plant. It's a plant that you'll see often, and for those that are new to the channel, I do call my viewers and subscribers plant foldies. If you are new and are able to watch this video during a live premiere, please say hello. We are steadily growing our subscriber count, our community, and it's just really exciting to see that you guys are still continuing to watch all of my plant shopping videos. We are close to 10,000 subscribers, and as the title suggested, I will be doing another plant, a rare philodendron giveaway. I'll give you a couple of the details, but definitely in order for you to participate in the free plant giveaway, you've got to have an Instagram account and you have to be a US resident. Unfortunately, I'm not able to ship plants outside internationally. So for those that are not in the United States, I do apologize. We do have quite a bit of plant foldies. Shout out to all of my Canadian plant foldies. I love y'all. You guys are amazing. Maybe at some point I may be able to ship internationally. But as you can see here, this Kroger just has a bunch of beautiful little miniature roses. And then we also have a peace lily right here, or a spathiphyllum. What an easy to care for plant. And, you know, I talk about spathiphyllum being one of those plants that can tolerate really low light conditions. The miniature roses, though, will need to be under a grow light, under a south-facing window, somewhere where it gets a lot of light. You know, it is a rose, and roses thrive better in full sun. So just keep that in mind. As you see that there are a lot of blooming plants, you want to make sure that these blooming plants have the ample amount of light if you're going to grow them indoors. And you can see right over here, these are more spathiphyllum. And what I like about spathiphyllum or peace lilies is they can get fairly large as well. So if you want a large plant that can tolerate lower light conditions, you can get a peace lily. Now, Kroger has some great prices. These are only for $19.99. So I always suggest, you know, plant pricing and just really comparing and contrasting plant pricing. It is a thing where you want to make sure that you are getting the best value for the plants. I would say Kroger. We just recently visited Trader Joe's. Grocery stores, when they are selling plants, are typically inexpensive as compared to a lot of areas. And you can even see right over here, we've got some gorgeous looking orchids. So you can see this one is a deep purple and blue. These are actually not naturally colored orchids. These are orchids that I think they were able to feed them some type of food coloring to really dye the look of those orchids. And then you can see here, we've got more baskets of flowers, you know, different types of combinations. I think we have some some different types of plants that just in that combination basket. So I think that's interesting. You know, a lot of the plants that you'll see at a grocery store like Kroger is really meant to be more of like floral type gifts versus like indoor tropical plants or house plants. But you can even see here, look at the amazing looking Philodendron orchids that they have here. All of these white blooms are $29.99. These are the swan and flamingo orchids. They do have these trellises where they just look really nice. And I just love white blooms. You know, flowers that are white just give this certain elegance about them. And I am all about, you know, elegance and classiness when it comes to plants. You can see here, they've got the espresso cup varieties. Look at this right here. These are the more miniature type Philodendron orchids. These ones are for $9.99. So the smaller varieties are $9.99. I did end up finding a variegated version in a small teacup size. So for $9.99, I do have a little surprise for one of my plant viewers. Planting with Pete, who actually has a YouTube channel. I will be sending him in a little variegated orchid as well. And you can see right here, these are Live Trends planters. This one is for $9.99, and this is a really cool looking dinosaur with a Haworthia in it. So Haworthias, all of these plants that are in these little planters here, Haworthias are actually succulents, but these are succulents that don't require nearly as much light as a typical succulent. I recently learned that they are a little bit more low light tolerant. I do love Live Trends planters. They always have fun planters. They have some really stylish modern planters. I would even go to say that Live Trends probably has the best planter styling or the aesthetic that I appreciate. But you can see here, these are super cute, and these are for $9.99. Haworthias are low maintenance succulents. So if you're looking to add a succulent into your houseplant collection, I would recommend a Haworthia. And then over here, we've got a Philodendron orchid, really nice looking orchid right over here. Really nice coloration on it. You can see that a lot of Philodendron orchids have some really nice colors, different types of textures. They have a different face, and they almost remind me of like pansies as well. This one is also on like a little stake just to keep the flowers balanced. Now, a lot of people will ask, how long do these Philodendron orchids last in terms of the bloom? This one's actually for $13.99. I would say orchid blooms on Philodendron will last for about a month, maybe a month and a half. Then it takes just a little bit while for them to rebloom. But once they rebloom, that is, you know, a success. A lot of times people will just toss a Philodendron orchid once it's done with the bloom, which is unfortunate because in the wild, they're not always constantly blooming. We just so happen to get these orchids when they are in bloom. But you can see the white orchids right over here, and then we've got these blue orchids and those purple orchids. Now these are all dyed with food coloring, so these are actually not naturally occurring colors. Same thing with that hot pink in the background right there. That one in the bottom left is not natural, but you can see all of the other colors are amazing. You can see this bowl right here with a beautiful orchid arrangement. I do love the fact that they have them on trellises, so they've been able to kind of train them to kind of cascade. Really beautiful looking orchid. And you can see here, this is another orchid that is not necessarily a naturally occurring pink. Needless to say, it's still a beautiful color. I prefer the natural colors versus dyed flowers, but some people might be into that. I've even seen like rainbow varieties where it's just multiple colors on a bloom. I just think they just look a little too artificial for my taste. Like if I'm gonna have a flower, I want them to be fresh. I want them to be living. I want them to have a natural look about them. But as I pan away over here, this Kroger marketplace is one of my go-to places to go for plants. Oftentimes people don't really consider a grocery store a place to go plant shopping, but they've got some really good selections. Like take a look at this right here. We've got a Peperomia Rousseau for $8.99. Really like this Peperomia Rousseau as well. That is a really good price. And these are sourced out by Mason Farms. So I've talked about Mason Farms as one of the plant nurseries that source out to Kroger specifically and some of these other grocery stores. I just really like that their plants are pretty valued at a good price. Like this one's $8.99 for a Pilea plant, or this is an aluminum plant right here. Really like that metallic shine as well. It's a gorgeous plant. It's a plant that I am all about, and it's a plant that I have been collecting. I've been collecting a lot of different types of Pilea plants. The only thing about Pilea plants, and I'm surprised I've been able to keep them alive, is that they do require a little bit more water. I tend to not water my plants nearly as much as I should be due to time constraints. And then you can see over here, we've got another type of Peperomia. This one is for also $8.99. Really like the look of this particular Peperomia. I like that silver foliage here. Even the veining and the texture of the leaves is absolutely stunning. I really like the look of the blooms as well. So those little rat tail things are actually blooms. And whenever you see a peperomia or any plant that's actually blooming, that should tell you that the plant is more mature, and also it's in a happy growing environment to where it feels like it can push out blooms. The only drawback is if you see a plant in bloom, you want to probably cut off the blooms, because if you're growing for foliage, and I've said this in all my videos, it takes a lot of energy from the plant to produce a bloom versus actually putting its energies to grow new leaves. So you want to make sure that you're getting rid of the blooms. But here is just this table. And what I will say about Kroger grocery stores, especially the marketplace, is they take a lot of plants. You get a lot of really nice plants for a very small surface space of just where they actually display the plants. These are for $8.99. Again, these are the polka dot plants, the red varieties. I like polka dot plants. I almost feel like these would only be really good patio annuals. So, when you talk about an annual plant, you talk about a plant that will only grow for one season. And then everybody's favorite, a Plantfoldy favorite, these are the Hydra Helix. What I like about the Hydra Helix, or the Hedera Helix, which is the correct way to say for English ivy, it is just a plant that you guys already know the story. I love it. It doesn't love me. It's a hard to care for plant, but it's a plant that unfortunately I can't get away from. So I am all about that. And then over here, Hoya carnosa. So who would have thought you would find Hoya plants at a grocery store? Kroger actually has a good selection of Hoyas. I've seen some really uncommon Hoyas pop up for a really good price. And then we've got a Ficus elastica burgundy right over here. This is another Mason Farms plant. This one is for $13.99. Look at how dark that foliage is right here. I love dark plants. Black plants are amazing. It is, a plant that I tend to gravitate to, especially that Ficus elastica burgundy. You can see they've got several different varieties, but, it's just really cool to see that this particular grocery store is really close to where I'm based at. It's literally just a 5-minute drive around, and it's one that I can frequently visit. And that's the reason why Plantfoldies, you will notice that there are certain locations that I have featured on multiple videos, and that's because I intentionally want to show you updates, plant restock. So especially if you are a local Plantfoldy or somebody that lives out in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, please subscribe to my channel if you want to at least stay up to date with what plants are being brought into the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Again, I do plant shopping videos. I basically am filming every single day and trying to get information on what plants are coming in. And then this is an amazing plant find. Have you ever seen a peperomia raindrop camouflage? And this is only for $13.99. Like, I am debating on whether I should get this variegated peperomia raindrop. It's a beautiful peperomia. It's got a large peperomia leaf, but look at the modeling on the leaves. This is green on green variegation. This is a highly uncommon, almost rare peperomia, and for only $13.99. I probably should buy it. So Plantfoldies, I love comments in the comment section. Please leave it in the comments if you would buy this peperomia raindrop camouflage or variegated peperomia raindrop. This is such a beautiful plant. It's a plant that can get fairly large, and that green on green variegation is amazing. Now, I will assume that this variegation is more influenced by the amount of light it receives, and it looks like they have 2 of them. So I don't know, Plantfoldies, what do you think? I was not expecting to find an uncommon or rare peperomia camouflage. Would you buy this? And if so, tell me the reason why you would buy it. I really should not be spending any more money than I do on some of my plants, but for some reason, I just tend to go ahead and spend all the money that I have. It's really, it's really just crazy that I am basically buying a plant almost every single day because I am doing plant shopping videos. I almost dropped that, but I was just going to double check the price, but it is $13.99. That is a pretty nice looking plant. If I was being nitpicky, there are a couple of cosmetic situations where it has a couple of torn leaves, but if I were to give it some tender love and care, it would eventually become a nice specimen plant. So I just can't get over that, and it is only for $13.99. So Plant foldies, let me know what you think in the comments. You know, I always ask, one way you can actually support the channel is if you've made it this far and haven't already, please make sure you are hitting the like button, especially if you're actually joining this video during a live premiere. Before even the live premiere starts or during the live premiere, go ahead and exit out of the chat, click the like button, and you can go enter the chat back in. I cannot tell you how helpful it is for me to be able to get those likes on the videos. YouTube will push the video to more plant lovers like yourself, and it just makes it more of a fun place to be at when you have multiple people chatting and just seeing our community grow. Over here, we've got a Pelea peperomoides. This is another plant for $19.99. You can see that this is a plant that has several little baby shoots coming out. I would love to actually add this to my plant collection. I just like the unique look, the unique shape of the leaves. And then right over here, we've got a Dracaena lemon surprise. This one is for $19.99. I will say, out of all of the plant pricing, I think Kroger's 6-inch starter planters are a little bit more on the steeper side. I feel like they should be selling them more so for like $12.99, $14.99, but like $19.99 is a little bit high for me if I'm being completely honest. And then I do like this. So I've never seen a China doll plant as a bonsai form, and what I mean by that is, look at the large leaves, and then you can just see that the trunk is super thick. It's like a stump that they just cut, and then they had to have several shoots pop out. This one is for $24.99. I honestly would buy this plant, but I would probably repot it. I don't really like the planter, but it is a nice little stump. I do like the China doll plant, but the problem with China doll is it is a very thirsty plant. I ended up killing the one I bought from HEB, which is another local grocery store only available in Texas. It was an Exotic Angels Costa Farm plant, but it was only for $3.97. But I was just disappointed. But that's the thing, whenever you kill a plant or a plant doesn't do well in your care, always reassess what you could have done differently. Truthfully, I didn't realize it was a very thirsty plant, and that's another plant that I don't think I'll add into my collection for now, just because I don't have the best watering routine. But as you can see here, another beautiful Hoya carnosa Crimson Princess right here. Now with Hoyas, they do require a lot of bright and direct light. They like humidity. Apparently this one is for $13.99, but apparently Hoyas will bloom if you give them those right lighting and humidity conditions. And also if they are able to attach them to like a trellis, they really like that. And then zebra plant. What I like about the zebra plant, it does have some interesting foliage. This one is also for $13.99. I do like it, but I've heard that this plant can be a little bit more finicky. So it's one of those plants that I somewhat steer away from just because of how difficult of a plant it could be. But wow, plant foldies, check this out. This is another plant find. So this is the Philodendron squamiferum, and this is another uncommon plant. This is by that same rare plant provider that provides to this is that Tropic Treasures provider that has provided us with the Philodendron Florida Ghost. That was their last release. They had a Monstera Thai constellation. They had the Philodendron marble marble pink princess, and now they have the Philodendron squamiferum. I love Philodendron squamiferum. I actually have a large one that's already growing up a pole that I got from another local plant nursery called Green Acres. That one's out in Melissa, Texas. If you haven't already, please check out that local plant nursery video of the Green Acres. I ended up getting a huge Philodendron squamiferum, but who would have thought like 3 to 4 years ago, when this plant was extremely rare, you would find this available at a grocery store called Kroger in Frisco, Texas for $19.99. Like, these are super healthy Philodendron squamiferums. You know, we talk about all of the rare and uncommon philodendron that have been popping up in all of these grocery stores. Like about 3 days ago, I found a bunch of really cool looking Philodendron Florida Beauties, a variegated Philodendron domesticanum, and a Philodendron strawberry shake from the HEB that's literally across the street from this particular Kroger. So you better believe that after I am done shopping at this particular location, I am going to go check and update to see if all of those Philodendron Florida Beauties and all of those amazing variegated Philodendron have sold out. But this looks to be like they just literally got this off of a pallet and started putting down Philodendron squamiferum. So here's the thing about Philodendron squamiferum. They pretty much share the same type of care conditions. Like most philodendron, they do prefer bright indirect light. They prefer more humidity if possible. They do better. And this particular philodendron does like to climb. So if you put it on a totem pole, a moss pole, a plank, it will grow up that pole, attach its aerial roots, and will actually mature the leaves. So the leaves will actually change a little different shape. It'll end up fenestrating and really just changing its shape. Right now, these are semi-juvenile form leaves. You can see that the leaves are starting to change the shape of it. They get a little bit more serrated. But what I love about the Philodendron squamiferum is you can see the petioles and the stems have that fuzzy texture around it. I also like the fact that it's got a dark maroon stem about it. It is more of a vigorous growing philodendron, so it's an easy plant to grow. It's actually a really easy philodendron to grow. I always found it interesting that this is still considered an uncommon philodendron, but as of today, now that I've seen it at a Kroger grocery store, this I would consider as a common philodendron. And you know, it's getting to the point where a lot of philodendrons that were uncommon or rare are just readily available. You can find them at so many other locations. Like, I mean, the philodendron Birkin, for instance, that was a philodendron that was uncommon about 3 to 4 years ago. Now you can't go to a big box store, a grocery store, and not find it. But I am so excited and so surprised to see that Tropic Treasures has released some Philodendron squamiferum. What I would do with the Philodendron squamiferum is plant about 3 or 4 in the same pot with a totem pole or moss pole in the middle, and just let all of those plants connect, and you'll have a super full plant. It is amazing to see these actually in a full totem pole. Now, if you haven't checked out my other local plant nursery shopping video of Plant Keeper Incorporated, that is another local nursery out in downtown Dallas. And for those that are new to this channel, I am actually based out in North Dallas, so the majority of my plant shopping videos, all of these locations are typically going to be seen in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. But if you want to see an amazing, hold on, by the way, this is a beautiful Ficus elastica burgundy again. This one is for $19.99. To get back onto the subject of the Philodendron squamiferum, if you want to see one that has grown up a 6 feet totem pole, check out Plant Keeper Incorporated, and you will see the absolute beauty of a Philodendron squamiferum. It is a sight to behold. It is an easy plant to grow, and even though this is just a green philodendron with some fuzzy petioles, it is one that is highly sought after. I think it's a beautiful look. It's got an exotic feel because of the fuzzy petioles, and it's one that's easy to take care of. It's easy to propagate from cuttings as well. And you can see here, I wanted to show you more of these artificial colored orchids, Phalaenopsis orchids. They're nice, but I just wouldn't be about that. But I am about these Philodendron squamiferum. If I already didn't have 3 Philodendron squamiferum growing in my collection, I would totally buy this for $19.99. That's actually a pretty fair price. I've seen it for a little bit less, but these are actually fairly established Philodendron squamiferum. So I'm going to have to check out what other plants Tropic Treasures is going to release. So what I've realized is that every 5 weeks, Kroger will release another type of rare plant. So I'm interested to see. So I've heard some rumors that there was going to be some more variegated philodendron, potentially some really rare ones. Now, if they ever do another release of a philodendron Florida ghost, I may end up buying some more because mine are doing very well, and it's another plant that's just doing very well. But you can see here they've got Philodendron squamiferum in multiple areas. It's interesting that they actually display a lot of these rare and uncommon plants on the back side of the back end cap of these little plant tables. You would think that they would feature these rare or uncommon plants right at the front, but you know, I'm not the one making those decisions, and truthfully it makes it easier for me to find and possibly buy rare plants. Like this one has a lot of leaves. This one looks super healthy. So plant foldies, let me know what you think about the Philodendron squamiferum. Would you purchase a Philodendron squamiferum for $19.99? And do you want me to do another plant giveaway? Would you want me to do a Philodendron squamiferum plant giveaway? Please leave that in the comments. I know some of you guys have asked if I can possibly do a YouTube plant giveaway. I may try to do that, but with YouTube it's a little bit more challenging to really count the entries because it's just harder to get in touch with somebody versus on Instagram. So some of our plant foldies may not have an Instagram account. I am planning on creating a Facebook account so that way we can interact with each other, but If you get a chance and you want to see more of my other content that's outside of YouTube, please definitely check out my Instagram account, especially if you are a diehard plant foldie, a subscriber that really follows my videos. You will see some really interesting tidbits about myself. You might even get clues about what I look like, because sometimes I'll post on my Instagram what I'm doing on a daily basis. You can kind of follow my life that way. But I'm so excited, and I'm happy that I was able to go find these Philodendron squamiferum. It looks like they released these Philodendron on the last day of May. So 5 weeks from now, we might find another really cool looking Philodendron. So definitely going to be checking that out. But for $19.99, if you are in the local Dallas-Fort Worth area, specifically in the McKinney, Frisco, Plano, Allen area, if you want to go to this Kroger Marketplace, this is the one off of El Dorado, in the intersection of El Dorado and Custer Road in between McKinney and Frisco. Now, it's right across from the HEB McKinney, Texas location, which is another place I will be visiting in just a sec. But you can see here we've got another plant find. You will save some money on just an uncommon plant. And I always say at grocery stores, especially Kroger, if you want some of these plants, I would definitely check that out. I am so happy I was able to find a Philodendron squamiferum. If I had a little bit more funds, I would actually buy one. I might still come back and buy one, since I don't know if this is another Philodendron that a lot of people will buy, but it is one that I definitely want to get. But as you guys can see here, I have left the Kroger Marketplace and I just went literally across the street to another grocery store plant shopping video. This is the HEB in McKinney, Texas. As always, please make sure you have hit the like button. If you already made it halfway through this video and you haven't already, hit that like button. It is the biggest way you can support my channel. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, if you want to send me a direct message, I respond to everybody. I love it when all of the plant foldies send me pictures of their plants. You can ask me questions. I'm also open to sponsorships or collaborations. So just let me know. As long as you're a legitimate person with positive intent, I will definitely engage with you. But this is an amazing HEB. I shop here often. I am pretty much at this HEB checking out plants maybe 2 to 3 times every week. So know that I will keep you posted. I haven't been really looking into the indoor section, but I was super shocked to have found some amazing Philodendron. But I'm going to walk over here. It is late afternoon. It's about 7:30 in the evening when I went here. There was actually a live premiere chat, and I do apologize to the plant foldies if for some reason I'm not able to interact with you guys during a live premiere chat. Most of my live premieres are scheduled for 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, but if I'm not able to, it's because I'm literally filming. I am doing my very, very best to just try to get you guys some daily plant shopping videos. But you can see here, this is a Fatsa japonica, or a Japanese Aralia. Really like that a lot. They've got some miniature magnolia trees. So magnolia trees do extremely well in the deep south. They can tolerate really hot conditions, and they have very fragrant flowers. And what I like about HEB as well is that they just have outdoor plants as well as indoor plants. I am faceless, but you can see that I have a little bit of a silhouette in the background. So if you're curious to see what I kind of look like, you can see my shadow in the background. But anyways, these are some bougainvillea for $8.97. These ones are beautiful plants as well. Now with bougainvillea, they need to be out in full sun. They prefer the heat. They do not tolerate colder conditions. So for my grow zone, which is 8B, they will not do well in the winter, and that's why you have to grow bougainvillea in containers or grow them as annuals. You can see here we do have some Texas soil potting mix for only $2.97. That's a really good value for some potting soil mix. And then we've got a bunch of herbs right here. Now we're going to walk on the other side and see that they have canna lilies for $12.97. These are interesting canna lilies because you can see that they've got a little bit of yellow and red tone to it. And then we've got 2 for $15. So we got some petunia hanging baskets. I have to say that HEB grocery stores have some of the best value for their plants. I would say that at grocery stores. So we saw Kroger grocery store, but even HEB has some amazing value for their plants. They've got a pretty good selection of plants. I would even say that they pretty much have a garden center available. You can see they've got planters, and this is the McKinney location one. This one just was recently opened not too long ago, and this is one that I like to visit often. You can see here they've got some fragrant jasmine here for $24.97. You can see that these are needing to be on a trellis, and just tons and tons of plants. So I was here about 2 to 3 days ago, and they did not have these. They've got some caladiums, and these caladiums are only for $14.97. You can see that they've got some nice, beautiful pink ones right here. Look at that. I love the leaf. It's bigger than my hand. Gorgeous plant, and these are the caladiums that I definitely would want to grow in my home. I just love pink plants. You know, I talk about pink plants often, and then over here we've got a caladium Miss Muffet right here. So they do have the plant ID for these specific caladiums. I am not as versed about what caladium plant IDs are. All I do know is that these caladiums are stunning, and it's interesting that they have these caladiums out in full sun. I would think that they would burn. Caladiums typically need to be out in the shade, so you just have to be really mindful on that. And then we've got some dark foliage crepe myrtles here. These are the first edition crepe myrtles. I really like the look of that as well, since it does have that dark foliage. I like the white blooms on that one specifically. And then you can see they've just got a wall full of different types of annual plants. You can see they've got hanging baskets there for $8.97. A really good value. And then just container plants of straw plants for $15.97. So I really like straw flowers, just because straw flowers are just really gorgeous looking flowers here. They've got an amazing feel about them. They feel like artificial flowers, but it is a plant that feels like straw. And these are only for $15.97, or is it $14.97? Look at this one right here. They really don't look like real flowers. It has one of the most interesting textures as far as flowers are concerned. And then right over here we've got a bunch of citronella. So these are for $9.97. So if you have a mosquito issue or mosquito problems, put some citronella in your patio and it'll kind of repel mosquitoes. They hate the smell of citronella. And you can see right here, I actually have this coleus as well. I bought this a while back, but this is for $8.97. You notice how it's starting to trail and hang off. You can actually cut that piece off, stick it in soil, and about a week later you have a new coleus plant that's free. Coleus plants, I've talked about this in every single video for the last probably month and a half, 2 months since I've grown to have a coleus obsession. They are just easy to care for plants, and you get so many free plants from them. Here we've got some bougainvillea for $7.97 in these like quart planters right here. And that's the thing I like about all of the plants that HEB offers. They've got some plants that are just easy to care for, as well as really good pricing. And what I love about it is all of these plants are locally sourced for the most part. We've got some ocean forest potting soil, the large brand by Fox Farms. Those are supposedly really good potting soil mix. And then we've got a bunch of concoleus plants, and these are locally grown in Texas. This is the red Kong, and with concoleus, they are the more larger leaf varieties of coleus plants. They can get very large in terms of just the size and width. They can get about to 3 to 4 feet in length and height. And with just all of these concoleus make really gorgeous plants. You can put them in your landscape. Now, if you grow them in Grow Zone 8B, which is North Dallas area, they are an annual. They will not survive the winter, and they will not come back next spring. Like, they're not a perennial. But you can actually overwinterize the coleus plants in 2 ways. You can just take them back and grow them indoors under like a grow light, or you can just take cuttings and basically just root them and then leave them in water until spring comes around, and you can plant them into the soil. So as far as the coleus collection I have, there are many that I definitely want to try to grow in my collection indoors. I have quite a bit, and there are some that I want to make into specimen plants by growing them into like a full-blown indoor tree. And then right over here we've got some Durantha Cuban Gold. It is another like accent type shrub or ground cover. I do like the neon color leaves. You can see that this is a really established plant, and all of these plants for the most part are locally sourced and grown in Texas. We've got a bunch of foxtail fern for $7.97, and there goes my silhouette again. So, I am still going to remain faceless, but it gives you a little bit of an idea of what I could, I look like. I am open to meeting up with some like local plant foldies that are in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. If you plan on going to PlantCon 2024, which is on August 31st, September 1st, Labor Day weekend, I would love to do a meetup. I know there are a couple of plant foldies that are going to Dallas for it. So super exciting. It looks like on their Instagram, they will start to be selling some plant tickets. So definitely take a look at that. I did also want to look at these Texas stepping stones. Really cool. And for those that like wine, you can grow your own wine by getting a grapevine here. Look at that. It's also on a trellis. I am a huge wine fan. I actually love red wine. That is something that I will occasionally have a drink just to relax, just a little bit of moderation there, but you can grow your own grapes as well. They sell those at HEB. And then you can see right over here, we've got some more annual plants, and you already know I can always spot a coleus plant from afar. This is for $4.97, and you can see this is a flamethrower coleus pink adobo. So actually it's interesting that it's called adobo, because in the Philippines, which is where my family is from, there is a dish we call adobo, and it's a really good meat dish. You can cook it with pork or chicken. There's just a lot of ways to make adobo, but it's really interesting that they call this the pink adobo. Really like that a lot. That is a coleus plant I actually do not have, and since it's a flamethrower coleus plant, that means this plant can tolerate a lot more sun than the typical coleus plant. Now we're going to go into the Texas backyard area, which is basically their indoor outdoor section, if that makes any sense. And I have been eyeing these. These are for $14.97. These are huge hanging baskets of like pothos plants or Epipremnum aureum. So they've got enjoy pothos mixed with some like jade pothos. I really like the combination of different types of pothos in there. I actually want to do a hanging basket of mixed pothos cuttings and just having a different variety of pothos in there. You can see that the jade pothos is the green one. That is going to be the more vigorous grower. And then the enjoy pothos is going to be a little bit slower growing. And you can see that the leaves are substantially smaller. But for $14.97, that is not a bad price at all. That is actually a really good cost-effective price. I always say that if you have an HEB in your area and you love plants, definitely go to HEB because they have some amazing plants. So like, obviously I've been featuring a lot of the outdoor section, the outdoor gardening plants, but they have some amazing indoor tropical plants. They've got some really good priced plants. And you can see right here, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 potential nodes that we can cut and take cutting. So you can get 10 free plants from that one vine. Pothos plants are easy to propagate in water. And I always recommend pothos or Epipremnum aureum for anybody that is starting to grow plants as a beginner. Now we've got a bunch of Costa Farms cactus right over here, or cacti. Look at this one right here. Now these don't really have the actual plant IDs. I love Costa Farms plants. They're just readily available. And I did want to thank Costa Farms for featuring one of my Instagram reels on their tiny plants that I found at Lowe's. For those that are following Costa Farms on Instagram, please check out that reel. I am so thankful. Thank you to Costa Farms for reaching out to me and utilizing my reels. I hope you guys will continue to utilize my reels. I've gotten a lot of engagement because of Costa Farms, just posting my Instagram reel, and I am all about, featuring Costa Farms plants. I do think that, Costa Farms does an amazing job making plants readily available for the typical consumer or plant consumer like myself. But you can see that HEB just has so many beautiful plants. I love this Epipremnum aureum enjoy pothos. Again, high variegation. You can see that there is a really good contrast of the white and green variegation. And then we've got golden pothos. And then we also have all of these plants. So these plants were actually $6 originally, but they are now on sale for $4.50. You can see we've got a peperomia right here. So they're calling these premium foliage, but this is some type of peperomia. I don't know the peperomia plant ID. What I do know is a lot of peperomias are quite easy to take care of. And then right over here, we have another peperomia. check that out as well. Really nice waxy looking foliage. And then right on the right is actually a ginger plant. They've got a variety of different types of premium foliage plants. Right over here we've got another peperomia. This is for $4.50. I call this peperomia the peperomia Golden Gate. Really nice foliage, nice variegation on this. This is another easy to care for plant. I actually bought one from HEB, the one out in Frisco, Texas, and that one was actually a really nice looking one. We also have a bird's nest sansevieria, a bird's nest snake plant. This one is also for $4.50. They always say the snake plants are easy to take care of, but the trifasciata sansevieria are a little bit more challenging than you think because their stems or their leaves can rot, so you have to really make sure you do not overwater a sansevieria, but you also don't want to underwater them because they can also get dry root or dry rot. So if it's too dry, the soil, their roots also rot. And then you can see here, this is the clearance, aka rescue me plant section. And then we've got a bunch of cactus only for $1.50. So that is a really good price for a lot of these cactus. They are super cute. You can see that they've got smaller varieties of these cactus. You can actually make a cactus arrangement, and I am a fan of these little arrangements. I myself haven't actually grown cactus, but it'd be one that I might find interest. And I'm just gonna walk over here. As you can see, HEB has many different supplies. So they've got different types of fertilizers, lawn care, plastic planters. We've got Fox Farm soils, which I recommend, and I also use this particular perlite. So if I'm gonna buy perlite, I will buy it from HEB because this bag is only for $3, and this is organic perlite. So I love that a lot. If you're interested to see what type of supplies for my soil I use, I typically use that. And I would recommend the Fox Farm potting soil. The reason why is these Fox Farm potting soils do not have like fungus gnat eggs. Some particular soils, and I'm not going to name specific brands, will have that, and that's the reason why you end up getting like fungus gnats. Some soils are notorious for that, and I use this Bush Doctor boomerang fertilizer for my plants. So if you're interested in what fertilizers I use the boomerang bush fertilizer, the liquid fertilizer from Fox Farm. And you can see that HEB has a variety of glazed planters. We've got terracotta planters. And honestly, I love terracotta planters, specifically the ones that are very simple like this. Now, these ones are for $6.98. These ones are the 4.5-inch planters. I love that a lot. And what I love about these terracotta planters, especially how it's just matte, it's simple, there's no textures. They really give my plants a more modern feel about them. I really like minimalistic planters, although I can also do this right here. I like this planter as well. It looks like it is handmade. Now, terracotta pots like this, the ones that are unglazed, and this one is for $3.98, are good for plants that need to be more on the drier side. So if you are an overwaterer, the way you can mitigate just keeping the soil to stay too wet is planting your plants in terracotta pots, because terracotta pots will actually suck up the moisture so the soil doesn't stay as wet. Now, for people like me, I probably need to use plastic planters just because I tend to water my plants, meaning if you have a plastic planter, that tends to hold moisture more so than the terracotta planter. And then you can see right here, lots of hanging baskets. Now, this is a spider plant right here. That is one that you can just cut that off, stick it in water, and you can propagate and get a new free plant. I am all about saving money in free plants. You know, when you talk about plant pricing, plant financing, there is a budget that I think people should stick to. I don't, because you can see I will probably buy some plants today, but you can see right here, turtle vine plant. This is a Calesia repens. It is similar to the Tradescanthia, and I do like the fact that this is really full for a hanging basket. And then right over here on the bottom is a licorice plant right here. So I love the silver foliage on the licorice plant. What a cool looking plant. It's got like that Dusty Miller look, that really ghostly gray look about it, powdery tone to the textures of the leaves. So we got a licorice plant hanging basket. And again, HEB, I have to commend HEB. They just have some amazing plants. I'm a huge fan. For the most part, their plants are healthy. And that's the thing about grocery store plants. I feel like the freshness of the plants or the health of the plants are definitely a lot more more healthy than maybe some of the big box stores we've seen, just because they treat foliage plants or plants in general as like produce. And so basically they want to keep them as fresh and healthy as possible. And then over here, we've got some more spider plants. We've got a yucca cane plant here. And, you know, I see yuccas often at a big box store or grocery store. I just don't know a lot about them. They don't really interest me nearly as much. And then right over here, we've got a Chiflera amate, sorry. Beautiful umbrella tree plant. I do like that the leaves have a natural shine about them. And these ones, I believe, are for $29.98. It is a nice size for a plant. And then this is another easy care for a plant. You have to give it a little bit more bright indirect light for it to really thrive. And then HEB just has amazing handcrafted planters here. I like that a lot. And as I pan away this late afternoon, early evening, you can see we've got some really cute big ponytail palms. And again, ponytail palms are not necessarily palms. They are a type of succulent plant, which I just recently found out. And then we've got some sago palms right here. Now, I've grown sago palms in the ground as a child. We had one actually in our landscape and it got extremely large. Now with sago palms, you really don't want to grow them in grow zones that get really harsh freezes or snow, because it is not going to make it through the winter. And then over here, we've got a really large hanging basket of Tradescanthia zebrina or burgundy. What a beautiful Tradescanthia. And the only thing again with these Tradescanthias, that specific one, it does get leggy very quickly. Branches fall off very quickly, they break off, and you can see that spider plant is really pushing out a ton of little babies. But anyways, as you can see right here, more big plants at this HEB. I do enjoy going to this HEB because it is only within a 5 to 6 minute radius of where I am based at, and I love that because I can give you guys updates. So, you know, plant foldies, I know that these locations you will see often, and you may recognize some of the plants I've featured, but hopefully you will still find interest in checking out these plants. I love talking about plants for at least an hour, and then the live premiere chats are just fun. And I mean, like this one, for instance, is an Alocasia stingray that I've featured before. These are, I believe, are for $59.98. Huge Alocasia stingrays. And what I love about this Alocasia stingrays, there's 2 of them. I wish I could like have the space to just buy one and grow them indoors. But, you know, number one, Alocasias are more challenging to grow indoors. And then number 2, space constraints. So like if you're ever going to grow indoor plants, you really want to assess, and I talk about this in every single video, you really want to assess your lighting conditions. Do you have enough light for your plants? Do you have enough space for your plant? Do you understand that, you know, a specific plant might be in a 4-inch planter, but when that plant matures in like a year or 2 or 3, it may take up like 4 to 5 feet of space. So just really being planful about like what plants you're bringing in, it's going to give you a little bit more joy versus stress, because I know that I am slightly stressed about the amount of plants I brought into my home. However, I have been excited that, you know, on Wednesday this past week, I was able to do a lot of plant chores. But anyways, to go back off of my rant, you can see that, you know, HEB does have a variety of different types of succulent plants. You know, if I'm going to recommend a place to buy succulents, I would say HEB as well, because HEB's plant pricing is really good. It's cost effective. You'll save money. And then you'll also just be able to find plants that are better for their value. What I mean by that is you'll get a larger plant for a better price. You can see that this one right here, I'm sure that this is some type of crassula. I just don't have the plant ID for it. And that's the thing about certain genus. Some genus are so elaborate with the amount of plants that they have that they don't have like plant ID specific to them. Like a good example would be Rex begonias. Rex begonias don't really have a cultivar or a plant ID for a lot of them. They're just labeled Rex begonias. And I just recently learned that as well as I did these plant shopping videos. Truthfully, plant foldies, I am just surprised, honored, ecstatic, happy, all of those adjectives and emotions for you guys really patronizing my videos and the work I put into it. It does take a little bit to make these videos, and while they may not be highly edited, I like to celebrate the fact that my plant videos are more like blogs, personal blogs, where it's really more organic and more raw. I don't have a script. I don't really have a storyboard. I just literally point and shoot plants that I find interesting. And I always want to give you this vibe that you and I are just kind of walking around together and we're hanging out. But you can see here, beautiful Philodendron Hope. Those are plants that can get really large. I've seen a really mature version of a Philodendron Hope. And then we've got a Hydra. Actually, this is not a Hedera helix or English ivy. This is an Algerian ivy. Algerian ivy have larger foliage. They're very, very similar to the Hedera helix. I like that a lot. And actually, if you are on my Instagram, I actually posted a story where I did a couple of stickers where I had an origami paper crane and either a Japanese maple or an English ivy as part of the background. And it's interesting because I did a poll and the majority of people gravitated to the origami paper crane with the English ivy. So my official logo actually has like a fenestrated monstera. Leave in the comments if you would like for me to incorporate an origami paper crane with a Hedera helix or a Hydra helix instead, because I do like the English ivy. I feel like there's some brand recognition, some name recognition to the YouTube channel for grow folds with the English ivy, because I'm obsessed about the fact that it's just such a hard a challenging plant for me to grow. Now Aglaonema Silver Bay, it is another beautiful plant. Aglaonemas are super easy. Aglaonemas I would recommend as well to grow in your plant collection. It is a plant that I feel like everybody should grow, everybody should patronize and actually have in their plant collection. I mean, look at that. It is a beautiful plant. Now with Aglaonema, they can tolerate lower light conditions. It doesn't mean that you can put it in a dark space and expect it to be really bushy and full. If it does get lower light conditions, it's going to grow slower. It may not be as full and it may not have the best coloration. Now with the Aglaonemas, especially the ones that are more pink, red, or have lighter colors, they really need more bright indirect light in order to really get the best coloration for it. Now Silver Bay, it's one of those plants, I would call it made of steel, just because it's really challenging to actually kill it unless you want to just neglect it and kill it by just not taking care of it. But we're gonna go ahead and walk into the grocery store and see some of the plants. If you were here, I am gonna go ahead and show you a lot of the plants. So places that HEB gets is they got the Max and Miles brand. So that's a brand that actually is HEB's line of plants. You can see this is a Dracaena right here for $9.98 in a ceramic planter. So I used to actually have this particular plant growing in my collection. This one's also for $9.98. Really nice looking plant. They call it premium foliage, but for those that may know what this plant ID is, please let me know, because I really want to buy this plant again. It is a plant that worked very well for me. It almost seems like it's a Tradescanthia, but it's not. So can anybody please find out the plant ID for this? If so, please leave a comment with a timestamp so I can refer back to it. And that's the thing, plant foldies. I really want to encourage you guys to just leave tons and tons of comments. I love responding to them. I think it's one of the things that I look forward to is waking up in the morning and checking to see if you guys left comments for my videos. You guys can even interact and have full-blown conversations if you want in the comment section. I am encouraging it. I would love to see it. And you can see here, though, for $9.98 is a beautiful spider plant. It doesn't have any new babies pushing. And I have to say, this is amazing that they have the Philodendron Thai Sunrise. This one's for $29.98. I've actually purchased this Philodendron Thai Sunrise at this HEB. Now, this Thai Sunrise is an uncommon philodendron. I don't really think a lot of people talk about this plant, but what I love about this plant is it does have some amazing variegation. It's got green on green variegation, and that's another type of variegation I like. That's the reason why I like the Epipremnum aureum global green pothos, like green on green variegation. I am in the hunt for a Monstera aurea, for instance, because I like that yellow green on green variegation. Notice how this Thai Sunrise, Philodendron Thai Sunrise, is different from the other one. This one has more lighter leaves. With Thai Sunrise, it's a pretty good growing plant. It definitely needs a pole or a totem to grow up. It is basically the green on green variegation or variegated form of a Philodendron lemon lime. which is another philodendron I like, but I do love the philodendron Thai sunrise. I have one growing, and you can see here, look at that. You can see that those aerial roots are really looking to cling onto a pole, a moss pole of some nature. So we will definitely have to check that out and see if we have those available. But you can see it's just such a beautiful looking plant. It's a plant that I definitely want to continue to grow in my plant collection. I want to grow it up a pole, chop it up and prop it and get some more free plants. You can see here we've got a bunch of assorted plants here. These are some gorgeous looking succulent plants. I don't know what this particular plant is, but what I can tell you is it is some form of an echeveria. So I am, starting to learn some of these succulents. I may not have all the plant IDs. I didn't realize that succulents cannot just grow in full direct sun. They have to acclimate, and you can see they've got some rare philodendrons right here. I did want to go over here and pan over. So as you can see, we've got another philodendron Thai sunrise, and we've got a couple of Philodendron Florida beauties left, but we'll go to that in a minute. Now we've got Father's Day coming up. These are for $15.98. These are some ficus ginseng plants. So sometimes these will be grown on bonsai, in bonsai shallow containers. I like that a lot. And then we've just got more plants right over here. Check that out. This is a ficus ginseng as well. What a cute looking plant. I've had these in the past. I've actually purchased them at IKEA, and some people have asked me to do a plant shopping video at IKEA. I may end up doing that. I like IKEA planters. I will say IKEA has had plants that were very cost effective in the past, but the last time I went there, their plants were a little bit more on the pricey side. But we'll check it out. If I get a chance, I'll go to IKEA. But you can see right here, these are some bromeliads in a terracotta planter. Love terracotta planters. I feel like terracotta planters are a classic looking planter for a nice classic look. And then you can see right here, we've got a bunch of blooming anthuriums in a small vase for $4.98. These are the pretty and pink collection. This one is for $16.98. And what I like about this is one of my favorite plants to grow. This is a rodeo oyster plant. You can see that it's got some purple undersides, and then they've got some pink variegation. Now, I will say that the pink is more pronounced when you give it a little bit more bright indirect light. I'm actually growing these outside in full sun, and they're doing very well for me. I can actually buy that at Lowe's for a little bit better of a price though. Here is a Philodendron White Princess. So this is the Fairy Tale collection. Philodendron White Princess, I have this as well. And you can see right here, this is for $26.98. That's not a bad price at all, considering like Philodendron Pink, I said Philodendron Pink Princess. It's actually the White Princess. Used to be way more expensive about 3 to 4 years ago. And that's the cool thing about seeing HEB really sourcing out these plants. Now we've got an Alocasia Bambino. I like this as well. This is by Max and Miles, and this one is also for $15.98. So it's still within the range of how much a typical Alocasia costs. But you can see with the Alocasia Bambino, it is more of a dwarf form. It has more narrow leaves as compared to like the Alocasia Poly. Beautiful Alocasia. It is an Alocasia that is a little bit more spider mite prone. Just like with most Alocasias, they can be. I would say if you're able to grow Alocasias outdoors in a shaded patio, they do better outdoors. Indoors, you need to provide them with more humidity, or better yet, just spray them with a neem oil spray at least weekly, and you should be able to repel some of these spider mites. But you can see here Alocasia Pink Dragon. I love the pink stems of Alocasia Pink Dragon. So I have 2 Alocasia Pink Dragons growing in my collection, and they're starting to take off. I did neglect a lot of my Alocasias, so we're gonna just see what I can do in terms of just getting them to be a little bit more healthy, and that's because I did not water them. I did want to show you some of these other plants in like 3.5 inch planters. This is a Tradescanthia Nanook. I like that a lot. And then we've got a variegated Afra plant on the left. This one is for, I believe, $5 or something, like somewhere of that nature. But love Tradescanthia Nanook. It is another Tradescanthia that cost a lot of money a couple years back. Now they are readily available. I actually bought another one at Lowe's. Lowe's actually sells them as like an outdoor ground cover, but they are versatile plants. You can grow them in full sun. or in shaded conditions. You can grow them outdoors or indoors. They're easy to propagate. It's just a really nice pink plant. And then we've got a string of turtles right here. I love string of turtles. I love that it actually trails. It is a pretty vigorous plant. It's a fast growing plant, and I absolutely love that as well. But it is a plant that was sourced out from Blanco County, Texas. So all of these plants again were grown in Texas, and I am all for it. You can see here this is another variegated aphra or some type of succulent plant. Look at how that's got some cream variegation on the edges of the leaves. Again, this is also for $5, around like $5 range. So HEB has an amazing price for a lot of these plants. I hope that if you don't live in Texas, but you visit Dallas and you're able to go to an HEB, definitely check it out. You'll find all of these plants, and you'll always be surprised about some of the plants that they offer because they are constantly getting restocks. And I did want to just take a little bit of time to show you this as well. So this is another Ficus elastica. This one is for $15.98. Really like the look of this one. This almost looks like that Ficus elastica Chloe that Proven Winners offers. And then you can see right over here, these are the last of all the philodendron that were here about 2 days ago. So they had a bunch of philodendron Florida beauties. They do have a little bit more of the philodendron Thai sunrise. I do think that this philodendron Thai sunrise is a little bit underrated in terms of like the uncommon and rare plants, because this one is actually really easy to propagate and multiply. So if you want free plants, I always recommend propagation. And then you can see right here, this is a variegated Philodendron domesticatum. This is the plant that I will end up buying because I want to do another plant giveaway. I recently ended a Monstera Thai Constellation free giveaway on Instagram. So if you are wanting to win this free variegated Philodendron domesticatum, definitely make sure you have Instagram. What I am going to do is I'm going to announce how long the entries will last. I think it's going to be 3 weeks to just give everybody a chance. What you'll need to do is basically live in the United States. You need to tag at least a minimum of 4 people. So once you've tagged a minimum of 4 different profiles on your Instagram account, any additional tags after that will be an additional entry to put in a random drawing to win that Philodendron variegated domesticatum. I thought about getting a Philodendron Florida Beauty, but I just felt like the domesticatum is a little bit more uncommon. I have seen more Philodendron Florida Beauty, and I didn't really want to spend too much money because if I bought both of these plants, it would be $100. And I am all about trying to give free giveaways. You will see a lot of that. I have a couple of other plants I'm wanting to do as a free giveaway, but for now I think I'm going to go ahead and do the Philodendron variegated domesticatum as the free Instagram giveaway. So again, what you need to do is make sure that you look for that reel, which is basically a short video that I'm going to do featuring that plant that I'm going to do as a free giveaway. You need to be following me. You have to be following me in order to be even eligible to be entered. Like the actual reel, and then also tag a minimum of 4 people. If you only tag 3, your entry will not be counted. You need at least 4 people tagged to the reel, and then any additional tag for the variegated domesticatum reel will count as an additional entry. You can enter as many times. You can tag over 1,000 people. You'll have 99 chances of being pulled from the drawing. We did have quite a bit of participation, so I found that really fun, and it was another way to just really grow our community. So please spread the word. If you don't have an Instagram account, go ahead and create yourself one. It is a way to get in contact with me directly, but you can see they've got a Philodendron Florida Beauty. I love that as well. I was glad that I was able to get it. Now these planters do not have drainage holes, so you just need to make sure you repot them. As always, this is Richie at Grow Folds. I really hope you enjoyed this plant shopping video at these grocery stores. I'm definitely going to have a 3.5-hour marathon for Sunday Fun Day, so stay tuned for tomorrow's marathon. Bye. Good day, my plant foldies. This is Richie at Grow Folds, and today we will be local nursery plant shopping at Plants and Planters in Richardson, Texas. As always, please make sure you're hitting the like button and following me on Instagram at Grow Folds. Today is the day after a really bad storm that hit the Dallas area, where several areas have been hit and all of these trees have fallen. I wanted to check on a couple of the nursery stores that I typically visit in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So today I am at Plants and Planters, and thankfully, all of the staff and all of their plants did not get any damage. There were places in this area that have lost power. They did lose power for a little bit, but I'm glad that the day after, all of my friends out at Plants and Planters are doing okay, and their plants look like they weren't even damaged. So either that or the staff cleaned up their area very quickly. So I just wanted to take you guys along to show you guys some beautiful plants this early Wednesday morning. You can see here we've got some Coleus perilla here. I have this particular Coleus plant, and plant foldies, for those that are new to this channel, I call my viewers and subscribers plant foldies. Welcome. You already know I love my Coleus plants. They bring me a lot of joy. So I wanted to go ahead and show you a couple of plants at Plants and Planters. They have an outdoor section, but typically I like to look at their indoor greenhouse. They have one of the best greenhouses in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So we're going to take a look at that. But you can see right over here, they've got Coleus plants on sale for $5.99. The crazy thing is, all the Coleus plants that we are typically looking at right now, I have already. So you can see that I actually have a Coleus obsession. I talk about that in all of my plant shopping videos. But anyways, I did want to just show you some of these plants, and you can see right over here, this is the Persian Purple Shield plant. This one is only for $5.99. I have one that I'm growing in some shade. Beautiful purple color here. Some people will say that this particular plant though does break people's hearts because it is a harder plant to grow. Mine is doing okay, but I did notice that if you give it some direct light, sunlight, it does not do well. It will burn up and crisp up. So you just got to make sure that you put it in a shaded area. And then we've got a bunch of oxalis right over here. Love the purple oxalis here. And this is a plant that you can grow indoors and outdoors as a perennial. That is something that's really awesome. And for those that don't know what the term perennial means, it means that you can grow a plant outdoors in a landscape, and depending on your grow zone, like for instance, my grow zone is 8B, since I am based out in North Dallas. This plant can actually become a perennial where it'll grow through a growth cycle where it'll grow during the spring, summer, fall, and then die off in the winter. But then next year in the spring or summer, they will come back up and grow again. So I really like that. You know, a lot of people will call plants that are perennials permanent plants because you basically can't get rid of them. They just come back year after year. And that is the thing about an oxalis. Love that. But you can see here, what a beautiful Wednesday morning out at Plants and Planters. I always like to go to this particular nursery just because they've got a friendly staff. One of my really good friends, Shelly, helps run this business. This is one of the oldest plant nurseries out in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. It is one that I highly recommend. I've been shopping here for about 5 years, and they have some amazing plants and prices. You can see right here, we've got some beautiful caladiums. I believe these are for $2.99. I would actually buy this particular caladium. It's got a good size on it, and look at how beautiful the foliage is. I do like caladiums just because of the colors of their leaves. Like this one right over here has some really nice red veining, and like that pink, very subtle pink color around it is just gorgeous as well. Now, caladiums are basically what I would consider a more colorful version of an alocasia. They have similar care tips. And the thing about caladiums is if you are going to grow them indoors, you need to provide them with a lot of bright indirect light. I would say put them right next to a window, and know that these caladiums, when grown indoors especially, will definitely go dormant in the winter. So just be prepared for that. What you can do is once they grow dormant in the winter, you can just save their bulbs and then just replant them, and they will come back year after year. But I've grown caladiums in the past. They are an easy to care for plant. Now, the only thing about caladiums, plant foldies, is that you have to provide them shade. They do not do well in full sun. And then they've got some ground cover here, and I've always shown you guys this. So if you have been following my daily plant shopping videos, I do a live premiere daily. You can see that I love these ajuga ajuga plant. So this is just the darker version of ajuga plant. The thing about ajuga plants is it is a ground cover. It is also another plant that's pretty much related to like a waffle plant. I love the colors. For some reason, I'm really in love with this variegated ajuga. It looks like a vegetable. It looks like some type of herb. But if you look at the subtleties and just the coloration of the plant, really beautiful purple, lavender, pink, cream variegation, and it is an inexpensive plant. I have 2 growing in my my plant collection right now. I have them in containers, planters, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to grow these plants indoors once it gets a little bit cold. But it is a fast growing plant as well. It is a plant that needs to stay pretty moist, so I water it once a day. But you know, as the summer starts to come around and Texas weather gets up to like 100 degrees, I know that I'm gonna have to water this a little bit more frequently. But these are some beautiful variegated ajuga. I just really like the color. So for those that are watching this video, let me know what you think of this plant. Would you actually grow it in your houseplant collection or even in your outdoor space? I'd really like to know. So just make sure you are leaving comments in the comment section. I really encourage that. And then right over here, this one is on sale. These are the ajuga chocolate chip. So you can see that it has a little bit more of a narrow leaf, different texture. It's definitely more compact than the other ajuga. And you can see that it's got darker foliage. What I also like about ajuga is I'm able to grow them in full sun, or you can put them in shade. So they've got a wide range of lighting conditions that they can live in. And that makes it easier for certain plants, because if they are more confined to like a specific lighting condition, like some like caladiums, for instance, caladiums can really only grow in the shade. You wouldn't be able to grow that in a full sun area, and that's the reason why I like the ajuga. But you can see here, beautiful fountain, and they just have a really good way of merchandising their plants. This almost looks like a park right over here, a beautiful little garden. And you can see here, this is a plant that I wish could be grown indoors. These are the tractor seat plants. I like the look of the plants. They also are known as lily pad plants. Really nice looking plant. And then we also have a bunch of coral bells, and you know, who doesn't like coral bells? At least I love coral bells, for the sense that, you know, for the fact that they have like beautiful dark foliage leaves. Love dark foliage plants. That is something that I often talk about in my big box store plant shopping videos. And for those that have just made it to my channel, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel at Growfolds with the notification bell on. I do 1-hour plant shopping videos daily. I have a couple of marathons that are going to be uploaded and premiered later in the later part of June. They are 3-hour long compilations of my plant shopping videos, so definitely check that out. And then plant foldies right over here. I actually have this highly variegated vinca vine plant. I'm actually growing it in a container, and I'm doing very well. But as you can see right over here, it doesn't even look like this plant nursery got hit by some really strong storms. You know, I'm really happy that they were fortunate not to get a lot of damage or anything to their plants. Now, there are a couple of places that had their roofs pop off. I know that there's a Callaway's nursery that I actually go to as well, that's about 5 minutes away here, that the roof just blew off. So it's really unfortunate, but you know, Mother Nature has a way of really destroying places, so you just always have to be prepared. But I am so happy that Plants and Planters was spared and is safe, and all of these plants are looking great, and I can come over here and show you guys all of the different plants. I like to showcase local plant nurseries. Although most of my content on this YouTube channel is big box or plant shopping, I would hope that if you found this channel, even though this plant shop or plant nursery may not be as accessible if you don't live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, I hope that you'll still continue to watch this video, because they have some amazing plants like this one right here, this variegated boat lily. I love variegated boat lily because it's such an easy to care for plant. It is a plant that has a wide range of lighting conditions it can grow. I am currently growing the variegated boat lily that I bought at Lowe's in full sun, but Nice pricing as well for some of their plants that they have here. We'll eventually go into the indoor greenhouse. That's really where I wanted to feature a lot of the plants, just because they did get a restock. But I did want to show you the outdoor plants. Like over here, we've got a creeping Jenny. It's another plant that I'm thinking about growing in a container and letting it trail. Look at how beautiful that yellow, the yellow coloration is on this creeping Jenny. Absolutely stunning plant. It's another plant that would be easy to take care of indoors. And you can see they've just got a lot of different types of shrubs, different types of flowering plants. And, if you want an outdoor space to become a beautiful garden, I would recommend going to Plants and Planters. They have really fair pricing. And you can see that they have lots of different plants that can grow very well in hot conditions, like this potato vine right over here. These are for $2.99. And the thing about potato vines is you can get a couple of starters like this, plant it in the ground, and you'll have it just take off. So I like that as well. I like inexpensive plants, so I always look for plants that have a really good value for them. And as you can see, they've got some banana plants right over here for $39.99. Beautiful plants. And we've got another Acer palmatum. This one is a lace leaf Japanese maple called a Crimson Queen. Beautiful plant. And Japanese maples, they can be grown in containers as well. They do need to be in more of a shaded area or a place that just gets bright morning light, but protection from the afternoon sun. And then we now are going to walk over here for a bunch of these coleus starter plants. These are only for $1.99. Beautiful coleus starter plants. I have bought all of these as well. I've got every single variety of these ones. One of them is blooming, and what you want to do is make sure you cut off the bloom, just because that actually stunts the growth of the actual coleus plant. And but as far as Plants and Planters, notice how they have a lot of different types of plants you can pick from. Actually, a lot of their outdoor plants have already been bought through, but they do get frequent restocks, and that's the thing I love about Plants and Planters. If you are not following them on Instagram, follow them on Instagram at Plants and Planters. They actually post pictures of their plants on their Instagram stories, so you'll always know what new plants that they have available. Now we are going to be walking into the main event, which is the greenhouse. Welcome to paradise. And I tell you, Plant Foldies, this is my 4th time actually filming this actual greenhouse, and every single time they have some new plants. It's just a beautiful paradise indeed. And I've never really filmed it early in the morning, so the lighting is a little bit different this morning is in terms of just how it is registering in the film. So we are gonna see what all of that entails. But notice how they have just a bunch of cool looking hanging baskets. Plants and Planters has just a variety of hanging basket plants. So if you are looking for an awesome hanging basket, I would definitely go to this greenhouse. And you can see this beautiful fountain right over here. If you were to just sit here and listen to the water, there is just a zen feeling about being in this greenhouse. And I'm the only one right now inside the greenhouse. So I'm super excited that I'm going to be able to freely film, but also just enjoy the ambience of all of these gorgeous plants. Like, I would really love to have my own little greenhouse with all of these plants, this like sanctuary of tropical plants someday. I mean, look at this. This is just amazing. And you can see here, they've just got an amazing amount of plants here. So like on the very right, we've got a Dracaena cane. We've got some Sansevierias at the very bottom. And as I pan away over here, you can just see all of the rows and rows of hanging baskets of plants. We've got this massive sago palm right here. Look at how beautiful the leaves are. Very elegant looking. And then we have another centerpiece of a white bird of paradise. And I love how Plants and Planters utilizes their larger plants to become a nice little display, a focal point. It does look like an urban jungle right here, a paradise only hidden in the Richardson, Texas area, and that is Plants and Planters. And when you walk over here, we have this beautiful Monstera deliciosa, and while most people would say this is a common just green form, look at how beautiful the leaves are. They are perfection, and you can see that there is another leaf that is about to unfurl. Now this is a massive Monstera deliciosa. I believe that one is for $159.99, and then we've got a whole table of easy to care for plants, so a combination of Philodendron, Scindapsus, and pothos plants. You can see right over here, we've got an Aglaonema Mary Ann. This one is only for $39.99, and that is a pretty massive Aglaonema right here. I will say if you're looking for large form Aglaonema, Plants and Planters is where you want to go. They have definitely a massive amount of Aglaonemas, and we've just got a lot of different varieties of Aglaonemas and different types of large plants. You can see they've got some hanging baskets. They've got a Enjoy Pothos or Epipremnum aureum Enjoy. We've got a Scindapsus Silver Ann. We've got a hanging basket of Philodendron Brantianum, another beautiful Epipremnum aureum Enjoy Pothos. I ended up buying one of those. Those are only for $29.99. And what I love about them is that they are trailing already. So, you know, it is a little bit slower of a pothos plant to grow, but they already have them trailing. So I ended up just buying it for that instant gratification. And then we've got a Scindapsus Silver Ann right over here. Look at how beautiful that is. And that is only for $12.99. Beautiful looking plant. I love the silver foliage, just the velvet texture of the Scindapsus Silver Ann. It's another plant that is a little bit slower growing. And then we have a Scindapsus Trubii Moonlight. Look at that vein on the leaf. That is also one that you would actually see at a big box store, something like at Walmart, Lowe's, or even Home Depot as a trending tropical Costa Farms plant. But if you're just looking for something a little bit smaller, Plants and Planters has a lot of these 4-inch starter plants. Now these are gorgeous. Look at this. This is actually a pretty massive 4-inch planter of a Philodendron Hederaceum Lemon Lime. I love Philodendron Hederaceum Lemon Lime because of just the yellow foliage. And I love yellow foliage plants. I love bright neon color plants. That one is a classic right there. Now you want to make sure you are giving it quite a bit of light in order for it to actually maintain its yellow foliage. And then obviously that Scindapsus Trubii Moonlight. Those are pretty slow growing plants. So the Scindapsus plants when you compare them to your pothos plants. And then notice right over here we've got a sea of Epipremnum aureum golden pothos. That is a classic house plant. I think everybody probably started out growing plants with a pothos plant, specifically the golden pothos. And then as I pan away and just pan up here to show you the rest of what is available here, notice how they just have little sections of different types of plant statements. Here we've got a Philodendron Prince of Orange. Look at how amazing this orange foliage is as it unfurls a new leaf. What happens is once it unfurls a new leaf, it's like that bright orange, and as it hardens and matures, it turns into like a tan brown color, and then it becomes green. Philodendron Prince of Orange is another philodendron I think that most people should get just because it's an easy to care for philodendron, and it's actually a pretty fast grower. And then we are going to be looking at this beautiful sago palm right here. Actually, not sago palm, sorry. Ponytail palm. Yeah, this is a ponytail palm, and look at how massive that is as well. Now, ponytail palm is not necessarily a palm, it's actually a succulent, and that's something I learned not too long ago about that, because you know I often see the ponytail palm in big box stores, but it's actually a succulent. And then you can just see that they just have rows and rows of plants. And then look right here, Philodendron Hederaceum Rio. Look at that Rio hanging basket. This is for $49.99. I remember when Philodendron Rio was just a very difficult plant to get, as well as a very expensive plant. I remembered when people were selling cuttings, one leaf, one node cuttings for like $50. Now you can get a whole hanging basket for $49.99. So I think that is pretty awesome right over here. Nice variegation as well. Now, again, with any type of Philodendron Hederaceum, bright indirect light is best. If you grow them on a totem pole, they will actually get larger leaves. I mean, look at that variegation right there. You can clearly tell there's a difference between that and the Philodendron Hederaceum Brazil. And then we have a whole table of Scindapsus. All of my plant IDs are all messed up today, but it is actually a Syngonium table. You can see that there is a Syngonium albo. That is one that I find very quick to grow as well. It's more of a vining plant. And then you've got a Syngonium milk confetti right over here. Look at that nice little variegation. I would say it would have even better variegation if you give it that bright indirect light. Now with syngoniums, you really don't want to underwater them. They don't do very well. They're actually way more susceptible to spider mites and diseases once they get underwatered. So just make sure you stay on top of the watering. Here is a Syngonium wallandii, beautiful plant as well. This is another plant that as it matures and gets larger leaves, when it's growing up a pole, it starts to lose its silver, like silver streak, but it has like trilobes that start to develop. And then as I pan away, you can see the details of this beautiful spider plant. Like this spider plant, I don't think is for sale, but it is a massive showpiece plant. Look at how large it is, and look at all of the babies that are just, trailing down on it. And then you have another spider plant, and then we've got even more hanging baskets right over here. Another ponytail palm. I love looking at this ponytail palm, and it's just a really nice centerpiece. And then we've got a bunch of Dracaena white jewels. Now those are for $39.99. Now these Dracaena white jewels, beautiful variegation. It does thrive in medium to bright light. It can tolerate lower light conditions. And then we've got a bunch of Ficus elastica, burgundy, beautiful dark foliage plant. That is another plant alongside with that white bird of paradise that needs bright light in order for it to really thrive. But as I pan away over here, I just wanted to show you how gorgeous this nursery, this greenhouse is this morning. And over here we have a beautiful lipstick plant. So lipstick plant remind me of Hoyas as well. They've got that that waxy feel for it. Now this one is for $29.99, and you can see that it is a nice hanging basket. It's super full. And then we've got some Ficus melony over here in a tree form. I actually need to add a Ficus melony into my collection just because I like these type of Ficus plants. With all Ficus though, around here for all of my Hoya heads, my Hoya lovers. Kathy from Canada, I know you love all of these Hoya plants. This one is a Hoya carnosa Crimson Princess. We've got a Hoya carnosa Hoya carnosa tricolor right over here. Look at that beautiful variegation, and this one is already trailing as well. Wow, look at that. That is absolutely stunning right here, and that is for is it $29.99? I believe it's either $29.99 or $39.99. And then look at this Hoya compacta. This one is massive. This one is just I believe the green form. No, actually, it's the variegated form. Wow. And that one is for, I believe, $79.99. So it's quite pricey, but, Hoya compacta variegata, this one takes quite a bit of time for it to grow that large. So I can understand that the price is just a little bit steep, but if you want an instant gratification and you want that Hoya, I would definitely buy that. But you can see many different types of Hoyas, and then they just have all of these little statements, these little islands of different plants. They've got Dracaena marginata right there. We've got a Ficus elastica ruby here, and so this one is for $19.99. That's a pretty good price for the Ficus ruby. I like the red tone it has on the leaves, and in order for the leaves to really have that red tone, you have to make sure that you give it a lot of bright light. And then we got a Dracaena lemon surprise here for $19.99. Love Dracaenas. I always feel like Dracaenas are such an underrated plant. There's not a lot of talk about Dracaenas in the YouTube community, or at least I haven't really seen a lot of people really featuring that. But it's one plant that I would say is an easy to care for plant, a plant that's not going to give you a lot of issues, and it can tolerate lower light conditions. So I would recommend a Dracaena. I love them. I have about 3 of them now in my collection. And then over here, we've got an African violet, variegated African violet. Look at how beautiful that is. Stunning. And even if it's not in bloom, I love that. And this one's for $14.99. Now with African violets, for the care tips, bright light, if best, bright indirect light. Make sure that you keep the soil moist. I would bottom water them versus top watering them, because African violets, they don't like their leaves to get wet. They don't like to get their stems wet. That will actually rot the African violet. But yeah, it's such a beautiful plant. I love how it's been hybridized, crossbred to where you have different varieties. Look at that underside right there. And these are only for $14.99. Really good price for these African violets. I have one African violet. It's got green on green variegation, and it is growing so well for me. Even though I haven't really given it the best care, I actually have given it a little bit more neglect, but it's still doing very well. And we've got a Monstera deliciosa right over here. Now these ones are semi-mature. It's starting to fenestrate. Beautiful plant. And then we have a Pilea peperomoides right here for $29.99. I'm actually tempted to buy this because it's already a really established Chinese money tree plant. Notice how they've got several babies here. This used to be the it plant. It is also known as the UFO plant. Super expensive couple years back. Now it is readily available. And something like this that actually self-propagates and pushes out babies, it's only a matter of time when that becomes very readily available, when the plant pricing goes down. So plant foldies, a lot of these plant pricing will go down if you just wait a little bit, especially for some of those rare philodendrons. Here we've got the Rex begonia. Now these are beautiful plants as well. Look at that foliage. Now I am a fan of Rex begonia, and that's only for $14.99. The thing about Rex begonia is they do need a little bit more humidity. They definitely don't want to be in direct sun. Bright indirect light is best, and you just got to make sure that you bottom water your Rex begonias. You don't really want to top water them, because when you top water them and get the stems wet, they can potentially rot, and you don't want that. Otherwise the plant will end up dying. I've done that before, so I'm speaking on experience, but I do love the metallic shine on it. I love the foliage. It typically has those grays and metallic shine on the leaves, which makes them very attractive plants. We've got Especia plants here. I love Especia plants. I remember being exposed to it, and these are only for $12.99. I like the green one more so than the darker foliage one, but both of them actually have beautiful foliage. They've got a metallic shine to it, and as a bonus, I did not realize that they have beautiful pink flowers. I will often see this at a big box store as a hanging basket from Trending Tropicals or Exotic Angels Costa Farms plants. You can see that this one is in bloom. I love it, and it's another plant that I would never really attribute to blooms, but it is nice to see them that they are in blooms. I haven't really grown this in my plant collection, but it's something that I would eventually want to add. Again, it is one of those things where I see all of these beautiful plants on a daily basis, just because I do these plant shopping videos daily, try to get that 1 hour content for y'all, but that just becomes a dilemma because I want to add plants all the time. Now here is a plant find. Wow, this is a mutant Mandula pothos, or an Epipremnum aureum Mandula pothos mutated. What? This is for $39.99. That is actually a pretty good price considering, you know, like a little one leaf, one node cutting propagation is like $15. So I am definitely going to buy me a Mandula pothos today. I do like some of these more uncommon rare plants, so you'll see me just kind of splurge if I see one. Again, this already busts my budget just because I really should not be spending money on plants, but wow. What a beautiful looking Mandula pothos. Plant folies, let me know what you think. I would say this is one of the more rare and uncommon pothos plants. It's kind of the same realm as those Japanese Teruno world pothos, but this mutated Mandula pothos, I definitely want to add it. It is a Mandula, but you notice how the leaves are a different shape. It's got a different way of getting that variegation. There is a lot of variegation happening actually. So I really like that. Notice how the new leaves come out a little bit more of a yellow tone, and then it ends up just either hardening to like white. But what a beautiful pothos here. Lots of leaf interest. It is a very slow growing pothos, however, but it is one that I want to add to my collection. So like plants and planters, definitely get some nice uncommon plants as well. That one's a Philodendron brantianum. We've got a bunch of Sansevieria braided forms, and then we've got some owl eye peperomia, and then look at that. As I pan away, what gorgeous looking scenery we have here. You can see how Plants and Planters has just a diverse selection of plants ranging from assorted succulents and cactus, philodendron, tropical plants, just all sorts of plants you can possibly think of. You know, I showed you guys the outdoor section with a lot of their outdoor plants, but this indoor greenhouse is fire. I love it, and I love that this desert rose is blooming. Look at how beautiful that pink is right there. I do love desert rose. I've had that in the past, and I also like this variegated rainbow elephant bush. I believe that that's what it's called. Look at how beautiful that is as well. Really nice looking size plant for a succulent. And again, you know, succulents are not really my forte. I don't know a lot about succulents and cactus, and specifically for just the plant IDs, so you'll bear with me. But this adenium, what a beautiful caudex that is right there, that trunk. This one's for $22.99. Beautiful bloom. That pink bloom, or the pink edging on that white bloom, is gorgeous. I actually am tempted to buy that as well. I want to collect those desert rose. And then we just have a green form of this variegated string of hearts. I have not variegated, I'm sorry, just a regular string of hearts. It's still a nice looking plant. And then we have some green forms of just crown of thorns here. I do like that. It does bloom. And then we have the variegated form of crown of thorns. So this is one that I've been eyeing for a while. This one is for $22.99. Look at how prickly it is, but look at how insane that variegation is on the variegated crown of thorns. I am tempted to buy this succulent. We will see. It's just that I have been spending a lot of money, but look at that. That variegation is insane. I love variegated plants, but then again, I also love plants that are just green. So for me, it's really, I just love plants in general. It just really depends if a plant speaks to me on whether I want to like buy it or not. And yes, I did say speaks to me, because there's just certain plants like that Mandula pothos. It just basically told me to buy it, and I'm going to buy it. But you can see here we have a bunch of cactus and succulents. It looks like they've actually done quite a bit of a restock, and I do love all of the hanging baskets of succulents that they have available at Plants and Planters. This one is the succulent that is called the ruby necklace right here. Look at that color. Really nice looking one. It looks like almost like a variegated form or a darker form of the string of bananas. You can see right here we've got a string of hearts, and we've got some more different types of cactus, trailing cactus right over here. I think that is the peanut cactus, and it's just really nice to look at all of these hanging baskets of succulents and cactus. I haven't really been exposed to a lot of hanging baskets of cactus until I started going to Plants and Planters. And then we've got a bunch of chrysanthemum right here. Chrysanthemum is just really a gorgeous plant. This one is for $14.99. They come in so many different varieties. They remind me of more colorful versions of like bird's nest snake plants. You can see this one is a dark foliage one that's like that really nice gray tone about it. I think that's really cool. And then you can see we've got more cactus right over here. Super cute, actually. I like how they've got that round form. It looks like a barrel for sure. And then we've got a bunch of assorted succulents and cactus. This one is a small devil's backbone variegated. This one's $12.99. Now this plant is easy to grow. My grandmother actually grows these. You can just take a cutting, take the bottom 2 or 3 leaves, stick it in water, and it will root easily. So it's another plant that is easily, something that you can actually propagate. And then also we've got this burro's tail cactus right here. What a cool looking burro's tail cactus. And this one is also for I think $4.99. Not a bad price at all. So you've got an assortment of cactus and succulents, and then we also have a string of pearls right over here. I do want to get a variegated string of pearls. I think of pearls, I think of my home country, the Philippines. We have just so many pearls, but this one, string of pearls for $12.99. And again, this is another plant that is quite the it plant still. And then you can see right here, I actually like this chrysanthemum. I do want to add one chrysanthemum to my collection. I just need to do research on like the watering and care tips for it, just because I do like the foliage of it. It kind of reminds me of Sansevieria, but also reminds me of bromeliads in terms of just the coloration. It has all of those pinks, really fit the aesthetic of what plants I like. And then you can see here another kalanchoe. I love kalanchoe. Look at that right here. That texture is really nice, and that's only for $8.99. That's a pretty good price for it. But this one is just the gray form. I like the teddy bear kalanchoe though. And then you can see right here, this is a kalanchoe flipjacks. What a cool looking kalanchoe. So notice how there is a stark difference on what it looks like. But as I pan away here, many different types of hanging baskets, succulents, and just a lot of diversity again. So if you are in the local plant, if you are a local plant foldie, somebody that lives in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, definitely take a trip out to Plants and Planters. Let them know that you found them through Grow Folds if this is your first time really seeing this nursery. But this one right here, $12.99, beautiful Aeonium. This one is the Aeonium Mardi Gras. So the Aeonium look is the look I like for my succulents. And then you can see right here, we've got some more echeverias. Like this one is the fuzzy version of an echeveria, and then more of those variegated elephant rainbow bush. And then we've got some aloe veras, large form aloe veras actually in the corner. That's just a recent addition. And we've got a Ming Aurelia here. And then we have a combination of variegated Dracaena, like the bamboo form. Dracaenas and bamboo are pretty much similar in their family genus. These ones are the braided form. I would actually like to add this into my collection. This one is only for $29.99. Notice the little babies that are popping out of this bamboo. Look at that. That is really cool, and it's supposed to bring you good luck. We've got some red maranthas right over here, and we've got bird's nest sansevieria here. This one can actually be separated. There's several little babies, and you can have several plants out of this 4-inch planter. And then we've got a bunch of Dracaena lemon surprise here, and then ZZ Zenzi. Beautiful compact ZZ plant. So if you want one that's more compact and doesn't get really large, that one is the plant for you. And then this one right here for $12.99 is a Dracaena lemon surprise. Love that neon color on that Dracaena. That Dracaena can get as large as about 3 to 4 feet with time, obviously, but it is a plant that I still would recommend for anybody that's into growing houseplants, easy to care for plants. And then you can see right here another gorgeous looking Epipremnum aureum, Enjoy Pothos. Love this. I ended up getting that, and I did notice that it is a little bit more of a thirsty plant. I think any plant that's in a hanging basket, you definitely have to watch for the water, just making sure that you stay on top of the watering, and then also making sure you are providing it with quite a bit of light. Like if you're going to hang it, you don't want to hang it to where it doesn't get light at the very top of the hanging basket. Otherwise, the top part will actually decline in health. And then you can see right here, this is a Dracaena Malika. It's one of my favorite Dracaenas. I actually have this Dracaena in my collection, and it's getting fairly large. I really like the look of it, and that's only for $12.99. Look at all of the colors you get out of it, and that's the reason why I am a huge advocate for people buying and getting into Dracaena. It's an easy plant. Trust me, it's a plant that you don't even have to water as often, and it will still live. That's the type of plant for me, just because I am so bad about just watering my plants. Like, that is the basic function of a plant. They need some water, and I fail to do that at times. But I am wanting to be transparent about some of my plant blunders, some of my plant opportunities, and that's the thing. I need to get better at watering my plants. But anyhow, we can see here more peace lilies. We've got even more Dracaenas. Notice how these Dracaenas, these lemon surprises, have gotten larger, and you see how they become more of like a cane form. Again, that is another large form plant that if you have a darker space in your home, you can put that there. And then you can just see how massive this greenhouse is. Love the Philodendron Summer Glory. I ended up getting one of these, a smaller form, but look at how large they get. The larger form is beautiful. I love that like tan form over it, or that color. And then this one is pretty large as well. It has a natural shine about it that I appreciate it. And then when I actually spray like my neem oil on it, it actually gives it a nice little shine. But that is another easy to care for Philodendron. And you can see here, wow, this is just absolutely stunning. You can see Plants and Planters is just a jungle, and you can see that they have this gorgeous looking Aglonema. This one is for $39.99. This is the Aglonema Spring Snow. Look at how beautiful that variegation is. It's super white. So again, this is another plant that if you want to put it in a darker space in your home, it will light up your space. But I am just going to walk through some more of these plants. You can see these large forms of the Sansevieria, and then we have a bigger forms of the Ficus elastica burgundy here. Look at that red tone that this particular ficus plant has. And again, that is a plant that you have to give a lot of bright light in order for it to really thrive. Ficus plants, that's what I think makes them a little bit more challenging, is just the lighting conditions. Most people's lighting conditions in an indoor space just doesn't fit bright indirect light unless you have just a bunch of windows, like tall windows that can provide that. But if you are able to, you will be rewarded with beautiful plants like the Ficus elastica. But as I pan away here, like there's just so many beautiful plants, like I can't get over it. And that's probably the reason why I feature this local plant nursery often. This is my 4th time making a video of it, and I hope that for those that typically look for big box store plants, that you've stuck around to really watch this local nursery. If you ever plan to visit the Dallas-Fort Worth area, I would recommend going to this local plant nursery. They have they're pretty much open 7 days a week. They typically open, I believe, at 10. So you'll just have to double check their hours of operation. But you can see, like, look at this. Another table full of Sansevieria. And that's the thing I like about Plants and Planters, is that they organize their plants based on what type of plant it is, and just the organization and merchandising is it really makes you inspired to pick up plants. And that's really the difference between a lot of big box stores versus a local plant nursery, is just the plant styling and then also just the merchandising. Now this table right here has a bunch of assorted philodendron. You can see right here, this is a Philodendron gloriosum for $29.99, and Philodendron gloriosum is not a climbing philodendron. It's a philodendron that likes to crawl, so you want to get a a pot that's actually either really wide or one that is more horizontal, so that way you can let it just crawl across. This one is a Philodendron Paraiso Verde, I believe that's what it is. It's another plant that its variegation is really influenced not by light, but the actual heat around it. And then right over here is a beautiful Philodendron Bellitier. I want a Philodendron Bellitier. I love the orange stem specifically. I would love to get a variegated form of it, but the pricing for the variegated form is still quite high. And I am the type of person now that I will just wait for the plant pricing to go down. You've noticed that I did do a video where they were selling Philodendron Florida Beauties, variegated Philodendron Domesticanum, and a Philodendron Strawberry Shake at HEB. Those were just some beautiful philodendron, and they were a really good price. And then over here, we've got a beautiful Philodendron White Princess. Look at that half moon variegation. I have this philodendron as well, but notice how this is super healthy in a 6-inch planter. So if you want some philodendrons, Plants and Planters has you. They really do bring in a lot of varieties of plants, and I just like how they do have them all separated in a table, which is very similar plants, very similar care tips. All of those plants will thrive with better bright indirect light. If you can give them a little bit more humidity, they do even better. Beautiful Philodendron Sun Red. This is one plant that I definitely need to add into my collection. I just like the look of it, and this one looks to be a little bit more sun stressed. This one is for $19.99, so it looks like it's gotten more of like a bronze burgundy color, but I do like the new leaves that unfurl. It's a bright red color. And this one is, I believe, for $39.99. This is a Philodendron Ring of Fire, but this Philodendron Ring of Fire is already a pretty large and established one. So if you see these at big box stores, yes, you will get them for a little bit less. But if you want instant gratification, like this one is already ready to climb, I would definitely get a Philodendron Ring of Fire at Plants and Planters. We've got a Rhaphidophora tetrasperma here for $14.99. Now, this is another easy to care for plant. It's actually a pretty fast plant. This plant likes to climb. It's not a plant that you can really let trail. It creates stems that really want to grow upward versus going down. And then we've got a bunch of Hoyas here. Smaller Hoyas. These ones are the Hoya Kintii or the variegated Wyetii. And then we've got a variegated Hindu robe or a variegated Hoya compacta. This was for $26.99. That's not a bad price at all for a variegated form. I would consider buying it. And again, if you actually provide it with a lot more light, these Hoyas will actually get sun stressed and give you some pinks and reds as well. And then you can see here, beautiful Philodendron Snowdrift. I actually got one as well of these plants. This is a little bit of a slower growing philodendron, but look at how beautiful the leaves are. If you put that snowdrift right next to like a darker foliage plant like this right here, this one is another beautiful philodendron. This is the Macaulay's Finale. Look at that. And I love how the leaves are a little bit wider and just wider, and it also has a really cool dark foliage on it. That is another dark foliage plant that I would add to my collection. It is another easy to care for plant. Many of these philodendrons are just really easy to care for. Now this one is a little bit more challenging. This one is a Philodendron Silver Mame. It's got beautiful coloration, but the problem is with these types of philodendron, they are a little bit more susceptible to spider mites. So just, use caution. And then you can see that this is an oak leaf ivy. Really like this ivy as well. It does look like a weed, but it is a vigorous grower. We've got this massive ficus, fiddle leaf fig tree. And then we also have these Dracaena Massangiana. And then we have all of these different ficus altissimas. That green on green variegation is gorgeous. And then we also have that bird of paradise. Tons of perfect, when I say perfect, hanging baskets of spider plants. We've got some Philodendron burley marks. And then we also have these large Philodendron pink princess growing up a totem, and notice how the leaves have gotten pretty large. It's got some decent variegation right here, like this new one right here is beautiful. What do you guys think about that pink leaf right there? Please leave that in the comments. Plant foldies, again, I like seeing lots of comments in the comment section. I really hope you'll take the time to put your insights, maybe even talk about your experiences of plants and planters, what plants you like. I want to know it all. And then right over here, we've got some Xanthosoma. So that is pretty much like a caladium or an alocasia. I don't even know how to like classify that, but it is another plant that you see is a common plant you find in a big box store. It has some beautiful leaves though. Look at that leaf. And we have some Alocasia bambino. These are $16.99. So this is more of a dwarf form of an Alocasia. Needless to say, it is a beautiful plant. It's a plant that you could add in a smaller space. So that's the thing. Some of these big philodendrons or these big plants that you find at Plants and Planters, I wouldn't be able to just store them in my home just because I don't have that big of a space. But they have so many smaller plants that you can pick and choose from. And that's the reason why, I always want to recommend this local plant nursery. Obviously, I do the big box store plant shopping videos, but if you're going to ask me, I also like to showcase all of these local plant nurseries because they have beautiful plants. Some of these plants that you may not see at a big box store. Like I don't really ever see a big box store carrying a watermelon peperomia, $12.99. Very good price for this 4-inch starter. I need to get a variegated watermelon. I have a variegated watermelon peperomia that I ended up getting at Peta's Planters. And if you haven't checked out that video, please check out Peta's Planters. I have 2 videos that really document and detail the plants that they have. That is another local plant nursery that I fully support and really recommend. Please support those small businesses. And then this is a peperomia green bubble. So I think that this has such cool texture on the leaves. It is an unusual looking peperomia. And then we've got another variegated peperomia. This is a peperomia ambricos. This is one that I actually want to add to my collection as well. Notice that it has those little rat tails. Those are actually the blooms. So it looks like it's a happy camper. And whenever you see a plant that's growing flowers, especially one that's really grown for its foliage, know that you probably need to cut the blooms because it stunts the growth of the plant. You can see right over here, look at this beautiful peperomia as well. I really like that silver gray foliage on it, and this one is super compact. What I would recommend though with these peperomias that are super compact is to just bottom water them versus top watering them so you don't get the leaves wet. And then you can see here Ficus lyrata, beautiful tree forms. Those plants require bright light. And then as I pan away over here, we've got even more plants available for you to just check out. Lots of beautiful hanging baskets. I mean, I just can't get over Plants and Planters. There is just a certain level of peace I get whenever I go plant shopping here or just even featuring them. Like this is such a cool looking spider plant, just the baby forms that just have come out of the mother plant, and all of these hanging baskets here. So plant foldies, what do you think of all these plants that we have featured so far at Plants and Planters? Are you ready to go visit Plants and Planters? If you do, please say hello to Shelly. She's super friendly. She has always been so kind to me, and she and I always talk about plants whenever I visit this nursery. And I do visit this nursery quite often. I have been visiting this Plants and Planters for quite a while. So I love it. I mean, look at this philodendron or Prince of Orange right over here. And then we just have even more plants. Look at that massive root system on this particular plant right there. This one is an Aglonema Moonlight Bay. Look at that variegation. It's got some grays. It's got some stripes. It's got a lot of things going on with it. And that is another Aglonema I would love to add to my collection. So if you like Aglonema, Plants and Planters has it. And if you just want to be in a space like this where it's just peaceful, beautiful, lush greenery, make yourself a go to this place. Take a trip to Plants and Planters. You'll see that they just have so many beautiful plants available. what a greenhouse paradise plants and planters looks. And you can see right over here, beautiful Spathiphyllum domino or peace lily. These are the variegated forms. Now this is one of the easiest plants to take care of. The only thing is you just need to make sure that you are providing it with lots of water. Peace lilies are super thirsty, but as I just walk over here and I'm about to complete this video, I am just excited that I finally found a Mandula pothos mutated that I am going to end up getting, just because I've been looking for this particular plant. I love pothos plants. They're just easy to take care of. And then I'm just going to pan out one last time to show you how beautiful this is just as you enter this actual greenhouse. I am going to be ending this video soon, and I did want to show you this Arabian jasmine. This is the national flower of the Philippines, but you can see outdoors, beautiful Japanese maple. So plant foldies, let me know what you think about plants and planters. Really appreciate you guys that always tune into all of my live videos, the live premieres. You know that I will always feature these local plant nurseries. Please shop plants and planters. I will see you on the next one. Good day, my plant foldies. This is Richie at Grow Folds, and today we will be big box store plant shopping at the Home Depot off of Custer Road in McKinney, Texas. As always, please make sure you are hitting that like button, following me on Instagram at Grow Folds, and hitting the subscribe button with the notification bell on for daily 1 hour plant shopping videos. So you can see as I walked up in this Home Depot, we have already seen some beautiful pink flowers. These are some kalanchoe right here for $10.98 in these ceramic planters. I do like the pink blooms, and you know, with kalanchoe, for those that don't know, these are more of a succulent plant. And then we have a bunch of these blooming anthurium plants. They come in many different colors and varieties. You can see this one is more of the pink reddish tone. I really like that a lot. And then they also have that dark bloom as well, that black anthurium, but these ones are for $18.98. Now with blooming anthurium plants, you do need to give it a lot more bright indirect light. They prefer more light. I actually like anthuriums more so, not for the blooms, at least this specific one, but more so for the leaves. I really like that natural shine on the leaves, and it's a beautiful plant. I actually grow these anthuriums in hydroponics. So basically I took the soil substrate out and I am just growing the roots in just water, and it's doing very well for me. It makes it an easy maintenance plant just because I don't have to do all of that watering. The problem with my plant care, and for those that know my plant foldies, the new ones right here, I do call my viewers and subscribers plant foldies. I have a situation where I just don't water my plants nearly as much. I think it's because of the time constraints that I have, doing, YouTube, balancing a job, and just life in general. I tend to neglect my plants on that aspect, is the watering. And you know what? It's really embarrassing just because that is basically the most basic fundamental of growing plants, is just the watering aspect of it. So as I do these plant shopping videos, and you can see that I'm showing you these beautiful bromeliads, I really like to talk about some of my plant care tips. These care tips, I really do need to listen to myself, but when you get a little bit overzealous with plants, that tends to happen. You overrun yourself with all of these plants. I know that I've been buying plants and adding plants to my collection almost on a daily basis. So my household is being overrun with plants, and I'm needing to really slow down and stop. But for my Grow Folds plant folding community, you already know I like doing these 1 hour plant shopping videos, showing you these beautiful plants like these bromeliads. And can I say that these bromeliads are just gorgeous, beautiful plants. They come in so many different varieties. And for the longest time, I didn't really like bromeliads. I just thought they were such a basic plant. I always asked the question of why they were so readily available at big box stores or grocery stores or just anywhere that sells plants. But then I realized that bromeliads have a certain charm about them. I really like the look of the different varieties, especially the ones that look like somebody spray painted some paint. But now we're just going to go ahead and walk outside and see what outdoor plants they have, it as well as indoor plants. Now this is a Home Depot that I often frequent just because I want to see the restocks, if they get new plants, or if there's just something new that I might have missed. All Home Depots that I visit always have this Vigoro hanging basket fixture where they just have several of these different types of hanging baskets. These are all for $19.84. These ones, this one right here is actually a Philodendron hederaceum, Brazil. Beautiful plant. This one has more green than that yellow variegation. And then you can see right over here, this is an Epipremnum aria marble queen pothos. Now this, I would say, is more of a marble queen pothos because it has lower variegation. Now I've been seeing a lot of Costa Farms hanging baskets of quote marble queen pothos, but I've noticed that they are more white. So I would think that maybe they're the snow queen pothos. Either way, pothos plants are super easy. You know, when I talk about them during all of my videos, I always mention, you know, easy to care for plants. I would say pothos is going to be one of the plants that are definitely easy to care for plants that if you are a beginner, I would highly recommend that. Now this one right here is a Pilea peperomoides, or a Chinese money plant. I really like this. It's also known as the UFO plant. And you notice how it has a lot of little babies. This one's also known as the friendship plant. This one is for $19.98. I do like the look of this plant. I would love to find one that's variegated, but I can also grow just a green variety. And that's the thing, plant foldies. We are always attracted to the more variegated forms of plants, or at least for the majority of people I've talked to, including myself. But I have learned to appreciate a lot of the just green versions of the plants. And the reason for it is green plants have more vigor in them, so they're easier to grow because they have green, which helps them with chlorophyll production. They're able to photosynthesize, and that makes the plant a little bit easier to grow. They will do more, they will push out more growth versus a variegated form, because the variegation or the whites or the creams or all of those off colors, they don't contain chlorophyll, and that chlorophyll is what feeds the plant to continue to grow. So you know, I am doing a little bit more of my plant ranting versus talking about the plants. But if you've been to my channel and you watch my live plant shopping videos, I utilize this YouTube platform to really just talk about the plants. I kind of consider it almost like a podcast. But, you know, for those that want to listen to me talk about plants, this is the channel for you, as well as this Epipremnum aureum snowy morning. That's basically Proven Winners' name for the marble queen pothos. Again, many plants will go through many different types of names. I try my best to get the plant subtitles on there. Sometimes I run out of time to actually edit the video, but you can see here, this is an Alocasia longiloba, really beautiful plant. I ended up buying one of those for a while. I actually need to repot mine. A lot of my Alocasias ended up getting a little bit neglected, but you know what I like about Alocasias is if the Alocasia just dies back to the corm, they will actually regrow. And I say this because I had an Alocasia Regina, I think that's how you pronounce it, and it died back. But then I noticed that after a little while, there's a little new growth spurt that happened. So that was super exciting to see. So there are times where you don't really want to get rid of a plant. I will definitely show you that at some point in a video. But anyways, these Calathea Wave Star, this is a beautiful Calathea as well. Love the purple undersides. Now with Calatheas, we all know that they are finicky plants, but you know, they get a bad rap. I think it's because most plant lovers like myself just don't have the right growing conditions for a plant. So when you talk about a plant that's harder to grow, it's not necessarily harder to grow. It's just the environment we place the plant in. You know, we don't really have the best lighting conditions, or I could go to say that most people who grow plants indoors may not have that the best lighting conditions. It's going to be a little bit darker. We may not have those humidifiers or that high humidity some plants require. Because you have to think a lot of these plants are in tropical environments. So yes, they are a little bit more finicky because we don't give them that type of environment. But on the flip side, that's the reason why we have to go through, big box store plant shopping videos. So I can show you guys like all of the easier to care for plants, because they're a little bit more conducive to the environments we naturally have in our homes. Like I would say the pothos plants, but you can see this Home Depot has many planters. I am curious, plant foldies, to see and hear about what you guys see in your big box stores. I'm always curious to see that. And I actually really love Alocasia regal shields. People will say that is a basic plant. It gets huge, and that's the thing about Alocasia regal shields. To be able to grow this indoors without it getting spider mites, you've really got to be inspecting the plant. I would always recommend spraying your plants with a preventative type neem oil, maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks. Spray the tops of the leaves, the bottoms of the leaves, the stems, the nodes, the top of the soil, even the bottom of the drainage holes, just so you can keep plant pests at bay. Now, this is a beautiful white bird of paradise. Now, white bird of paradise has some beautiful green foliage. I don't think that most white bird of paradise will ever bloom in an indoor situation because it needs a lot of light. And then you can see right over here, Alocasia california, beautiful plant as well. I actually have an Alocasia odora, which is similar to the California, but a variegated form. And you can see here, this has a lot of little baby shoots. So that's the thing I love about Alocasias. If you're thinking about getting a variegated Alocasia, I would consider that more of an investment plant at this current state, just because Alocasia, the variegated forms, are super expensive, but you know that that plant is going to self-propagate because it's going to produce little corms or little babies that you can separate from the mother plant and possibly sell. I'm not really into the plant selling. I just like to propagate my plants. You know, we talk about how you save money on plants. It's through plant propagation, through cuttings, through separating the plant, through plant trades. There's just a lot of other alternatives to being able to grow your plant collection versus just shopping and buying them. I am a little bit more on the on the plant buying stage, just because, again, I do these plant shopping videos daily. I'm literally in a big box store, some type of nursery, when I get off work or on my day off. Actually, today I will be meeting up with Janae Simone. She's another plant YouTuber, so we can do a collab in Dallas. But anyways, cordyline Hawaiian tea plant. I feature this often. It is a beautiful plant. I mean, notice how beautiful the pink and maroon and magenta looking color is. These plants can get fairly large. I grow mine in full sun. This is a plant that definitely needs to be grown outdoors. It is so susceptible to spider mites when you bring it indoors. And as I've said in my previous videos, a lot of times plants end up getting spider mites because when you bring them indoors, they have compromised health. And what I mean by that is they don't have the best growing conditions to where they're a little bit more susceptible to plant pests. And that's really how plant pests become invited to the plant. It's because the plant is not in its best health because of the environment. But as you can see here, cordyline Hawaiian tea plant, I really love this one as well. Look at how it has that border of pink around it. You know, I really like plants that have like borders, and then also the stems. And this one is only for $19.98. Like, part of me really wants to just buy a larger version of a cordyline Hawaiian tea plant. You know, I am a sucker when it comes to pink plants. Anything pink, anything with white stems. Those are kind of like the plant aesthetics I really like. Now over here for $39.98, we've got an Epipremnum aureum, golden pothos or jade pothos with a majesty palm. Quite an interesting combination, considering that the majesty palm really needs a lot of light. Now pothos can be in low light tolerant conditions, but if you're going to grow it with a majesty pothos, it definitely needs to get more light. And then over here, as I pan over, we've got a lot of ferns and then caladiums. I would say caladiums are the foliage color leaf of the hour. There are so many different caladiums. I have bought a couple of caladiums as well from a local plant nursery called Callaway's. Really like the look of caladiums. They're absolutely stunning. They are easy to care for plants when grown outside. Now indoors, I am not as versed about that. I would say they would need a lot more light and probably a little bit warmer conditions, because if it gets too cold, the caladium is going to think that it's like closer to winter and it will go dormant. Now here is a Tradescanthia Feeling Flirty, beautiful plant as well by Proven Winners. This one is for $19.98. I would say that this is a little bit more pricey. If you're to ask me, I would recommend getting the 4-inch planters by Proven Winners versus the ceramic ones. Those ones are typically like $9.99, somewhere around that range, or even $5.99. I am a huge fan of Proven Winner plants just because they have so many hybrids, and their plants are typically healthy when they are brought into big box stores or local nurseries. Here is another Syngonium. This is a champagne rain, or that's what they're calling this. You know, that's the interesting thing about proven winners. They always have their own names for their plants. That one is in a hydroponic situation. So that's in that H2O bowl where basically you're growing the plant in straight water. For me, for somebody who doesn't have the time to always water the plants, I think that hydroponics is a great, idea. Now, this one is a Philodendron Sun Red. This is a plant that I want to get. I really do like philodendrons. You know, I have a good friend and also a fellow loyal plant foldie. His name is Steven. If you haven't already, definitely check out his YouTube channel. Just search I Lift Plants. He loves philodendrons. We talk about philodendrons and it's pretty awesome. So definitely check out that YouTube channel of his. And then over here, we've got a Ficus elastica ruby. Now, Ficus elastica ruby or rubber tree plants, beautiful plants here. Now, this one I believe is for $29.98. It is a beautiful plant. I mean, look at the variegation. Look at that coloration. There is a faint red tint on the leaves. And in order for that to maintain that red tint on the leaves, you have to make sure that it gives a lot of light. Anything ficus means that you need to give that plant a lot of light. The Ficus family is a genus of plants that just really requires a lot of light. Most of them become tree form, so just also plant for them to get very large. Here we have a beautiful looking cast iron plant. So I didn't realize that for some people, cast iron plants are uncommon. Actually, part of me wants to jump on the bandwagon and just buy it. I would say it is almost like a Hawaiian tea plant or a cordyline plant, but just a green variety. It is a beautiful plant, but some people really like the cast iron plant. I don't know a lot about the care tips, so for those that do grow that plant or love that plant, please leave that in the comments. I would really love to know the care tips and what you think about that plant. This is a plant though that I love so much. This is for $14.98. This is an Aglonema, and specifically this is an Aglonema Silver Bay. One of the most common plants, I would say the Aglonema Silver Bay and the Aglonema Red Siam are the two plants you will see at any big box store. Just because they're common doesn't mean that they have less value. I would say that they have higher value because they're easy to care for plants. They're plants that will not die on you, and they just have beautiful foliage. Now, this is another plant that is super underrated. I say this in every single video of mine. This is a Dracaena. This is some type of Dracaena cane. What they did was they actually chopped the top off and then two new shoots came. What I love about Dracaena is they can get large. They don't require a lot of water. They can tolerate lower light conditions. You can neglect it, and the only bugs that really would be more susceptible is not spider mites, but mealy bugs, and that means you would have to really expose the plant. For the most part, that plant is really easy to take care of. And then over here, we've got some Aglonema. I'm actually tempted to buy this particular Aglonema for $29.98. It looks beautiful. It is a plant. What I like about this particular Aglonema is it just has that nice, beautiful border, that green border, and then the silver in the middle is absolutely stunning. I will say with Aglonemas though, if you don't give it enough bright light, eventually it will become a little bit more leggy. I would say if your Aglonema starts to get leggy, you can always repot it in a taller planter and plant the leggy part down into the soil, and it will eventually start to push up more pups and become full again. But that's just one easy Aglonema hack. You can see Aglonema again. This is an Aglonema Red Siam. Beautiful Aglonemas right here. I believe these are by Nature's Way in ceramic planters. So you can notice that the Nature's Way has many different types of plants right over here, and I love the Aglonema Red Siam. If you don't have an Aglonema Red Siam, I would highly suggest getting one. They are so beautiful, easy to care for, and it is a plant that doesn't require a lot of maintenance. And that's the thing about plants. If you can find a plant that doesn't have a lot of maintenance, that just makes plant care more enjoyable because you're not spending nearly as much time during your day actually taking care of plants. So for me, and I think most plant foldies or anybody who loves plants, I think you would agree that if a plant doesn't take away from your daily chores, it just makes it easier. Here is a beautiful Dracaena steed soul. What I love about this Dracaena is the leaves are lighter at the very top and then it becomes greener at the bottom. I've actually been eyeing this specific one right here. This is for $14.98. I definitely want to add that. So I have currently 3 Dracaenas in my houseplant collection, and I am wanting to continue to add more of these Dracaenas. You know, I really love these plants in the sense that they just have beautiful variegation, low light conditions. So even if you put this in a dark corner of your room, it's not necessarily going to thrive. It's not necessarily going to die. It's just going to be kind of like frozen in time. It's just not going to grow as quickly, but you will have a living plant in a corner that may not be able to host a plant. Look at these Aglaonema silver bays. I mean, leave it in the comments if you are a fan of Aglaonema. I really want to know. I mean, I've asked a lot of you guys in terms of just getting the comments because it's so interesting to really get your insights. You know, there are certain plant foldies, my viewers and subscribers, you guys will share, you know, your pictures, your videos of your plants on Instagram. If you're not following me on Instagram, my Instagram account is @growfold, and I really love that. Now, the thing about going to Home Depot is Home Depot just has so many varieties of plants. I would say Home Depot and Lowe's really rival in terms of the plants. I would say Lowe's probably has a better selection of indoor plants just because they really have a bunch of Costa Farms plants. I rarely see Costa Farm plants at Home Depot. They typically get Vigoro plants or Proven Winner plants. But, you know, needless to say, big box store plant shopping, it's just a really fun place to get plants at. And then over here, we've got a Hydra Helix. This one is for $5.98. And for those that are watching this video for the first time, I mispronounced Hedera Helix, which is the correct way to say English ivy, as Hydra. Yeah, you get it. I know that you guys like that. I don't know why you plant foldies want me to continue to say that, but I will do it just because if it brings you joy, it brings me joy. I actually like saying it that. I was a little bit more embarrassed when I was actually mispronouncing Hedera Helix when I first started doing plant shopping videos a couple months back. This one for $3.98 is an Asiatic Jasmine. I have been eyeing this ground cover for a while. Notice how it like shoots out all of those little vines. I'm actually gonna probably pull the plug and buy the Asiatic Jasmine tricolor because it has such beautiful variegation, and I'm gonna grow it in a planter and see if I could grow it as like a house plant. You know, when you look at some of these hanging baskets, these trailing hanging baskets, they typically have plants that are meant to just grow outdoors, but in a hanging basket. So it kind of works out. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I really like the look of many of those plants as well. And then notice these beautiful plants here. This is some type of ornamental grass for $3.98. This is another plant that, especially with this variegation, I would grow as a house plant. So plant foldies, let me know what you think if you would do the same. It has more narrow leaves and it has more of like a vertical look about it, and I really like the look of that. You know, you want different types of plants. You want trailing plants, you want plants that grow upright, you want plants that cascade, all of that, and you want plants that even have that wave pattern to it. Now these almost look like spider plants, but again, these are ornamental plants. So plant foldies, let me know what you think about these particular plants. If you would grow these indoors, or would that be something that you would be interested to do? And then these are just the green vinca vines right over here. I have a variegated one, a highly variegated one that's doing very well in a planter. So this year, as I've grown plants, brought my plants back into my life, I have started to experiment with certain plants. You know, my coleus obsession is real. We'll talk about that later in the video, but you can see here, this is another plant that I'm considering to get. This is a ajuga plant, but this is a dark foliage ajuga. I like the texture of it. This one is for $5.98 by Vigoro. I feel like I can get a better price though at Walmart for it, but look at that. It's got a natural shine. It looks like a metal, and it's just such a pretty little plant. And this is exactly what I wanted to get. This is the reason why I went to this big box store. I want to get this variegated Asiatic jasmine tricolor. Look at that. Isn't that variegation beautiful? And this one is for $5.98. I would say it's slightly pricey, but it is such a vigorous grower. And this is a plant that can be grown. I think it needs more bright indirect light, not full sun, but I need to do a little bit more research on that. What I do love is the variegation. Like, this is absolutely stunning. And what's interesting is the actual plant gets a little bit woody, so that would be something interesting to see if I can grow that in an indoor space. Again, I am all about trying to find plants that can be grown indoors, more so as an unconventional plant. So if you like that type of experimentation and you made it this far into the video, please make sure you are hitting that subscribe button with the notification bell on. But yeah, plant foldies, let me know what you think about that. And then also let me know about this Hedera helix. This Hedera helix is just that green version. This one is for $3.98. Now, I did recently introduce Hedera helix number 15 in my plant collection. It is a plant that I am attempting to grow and see if I can actually keep alive. I have killed many English ivies, but for some reason, it's one of those plants that I just want to love me back. I think it is because of the look of the leaves. They remind me of maple leaves. I love Japanese maples. I collect maples in general, so that's another interest of mine. But I love also just walking around Home Depot. You can see that they have so many varieties of plants. Now, for those that are more so to the indoor plants, I will feature those later in the video as well. But you can see here, this one is a coleus plant that can take full sun. I really like the look of this. I already have this coleus plant. Now with coleus plants, again, plant foldies, or for those that are just watching this video for the first time, coleus plants are a very versatile plant. They can be grown as a bedding plant in shade or sun. It depends on whether it's a sun coleus or not. They can be grown indoors. They can be grown as like a tree form indoors. There's a lot that you can do. And what I like about coleus plants is they have so many varieties. You can collect seeds and possibly grow those seeds and see if you can get another type of coleus mutation. They are always hybridized, so you're always constantly getting new varieties, and just the colors are amazing. And I also like the fact that you can cut a piece of the coleus plant, whether it's a node or not, stick it in the soil, and it will 98% chance root. So, I mean, I just love that. It is a very cost-effective plant, and it's a plant that a lot of people really don't like, and I don't understand why. You know, a lot of people who grow plants don't really give coleus plants a chance. But I mean, if you go to my channel, you know that I'm going to talk about that. I will also talk about how beautiful this cordyline Hawaiian tea plant is. You know, this is the specific one. Like, I actually really want this red variety. Now, I believe this mixed planter is for $99.98. So it's got the cordyline Hawaiian tea plant mixed with a bunch of calabrichoa, or those, they look like almost like miniature petunias. I really like the yellow flowers on it. What a beautiful planter. And then I am gonna buy this one right here. I believe this is another coleus that I don't have. This one is not a bad coleus at all, for only $1.99. This coleus plant, I'm gonna go ahead and replant in a 6-inch planter. They're very vigorous growers. I really do need to show you my coleus plant collection. I know that you guys have really asked me for that. I think I may do that this weekend, where I'll arrange it in my outdoor section and possibly film it. So if you want that, it depends on how many comments I get in the comment section requesting my coleus plant collection. Leave a comment in my comment section, and depending on what that engagement looks like, I may go ahead and hurry up and do a coleus plant tour of my personal plant collection. But what I love about this is, look at how yellow the leaves are, and guess what? That coleus can grow in full sun, so that makes it even more versatile. It has more space to be able to grow in different environments. And then you can see here mounds and rows of beautiful wax begonias. I really love wax begonias. They're very easy. You know, they say that they need to be in partial sun, although these ones can be in full sun. I'm actually growing that particular one. And then you can see here, we've got a bunch of beautiful caladiums. I really like the look of caladiums. I think caladiums are amazing. They have so many beautiful varieties. Like Proven Winners just has so many colorful varieties of caladiums. Look at these hybrids right that they have here. Look at that red. They're a very festive plant. I would say caladiums, any plant that has a lot of coloration are very festive plants. You know, I think some people may not be into the more colorful foliage. I am. I like, you know, colorful foliage just because I feel like they just have more joy about them. Like you can actually see all of the different colors. There's just more leaf interest. But then again, I'm also the type of person who likes minimalistic planters. So maybe some people might be more so into minimalistic foliage, like maybe just green foliage or a very cool looking variegated plant. But as you can see here, this Home Depot, and you know, I like to go visit Home Depot. I'm sure you guys have seen this Home Depot on so many different videos, but you know, for all of my loyal viewers and subscribers, my Plantfoldy community, I have to say thank you so much for always tuning in every single evening at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time just to watch me show you guys plants that you may have seen the previous night. But you know, I just love showing you plants like this Coral Bell. Who doesn't like dark foliage plants? Like I am obsessed with dark foliage plants. I think they are beautiful and they're easy to care for as well. I've done compilations of foliage plants, dark foliage plants, and I really wish that a lot of people would be able to get an Instagram account, because a lot of my additional content for the Grow Folge channel is on my on my Instagram account. That's the fastest way to get in touch with me. So if you're willing to create an Instagram account to engage with other plant foldies, that would be awesome. Instagram's pretty easy to use. You just have to download the app if you're watching my videos on your smartphone. But as you can see here, we've got a lot of Lantana. Vigoro Plants has these for $5.98. Very easy plant. And since I am based in North Dallas, our summers are extremely hot. Although I would say the last week we have been getting storms. You know, we had a tornado situation go on just about a week ago, and so the environment here has been super crazy. But for the most part, you have to go plan for your grow zone. So if you're going to be growing plants, you have to just really need to know what your grow zone is. Mine is 8B, so those summers are super hot. Like Lantana tend to do very well in those hot environments. Now the polka dot plant that I picked up, that will not do well in full sun. You want to make sure that you put it in partial shade if you're going to grow that outdoors. Some people will say that the polka dot plant is better grown outdoors versus indoors. It is a finicky plant. I haven't really figured out what the right environment is for it, but as you can see here, late afternoon, I am just filming this. I think it's about like 6:30 or 7. I just got off work at around 5, and I wanted to film some plants. You can see like right here, we've got some ligustrum. I think that's how you pronounce it. Those yellow neon shrub. That's beautiful. And then we have all of these first edition crepe myrtles. Now, crepe myrtles are a flowering tree that is heat tolerant. It really likes the heat. It likes full sun, and it is readily grown all over the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And I did want to show you this. So this is another Proven Winners plant. I think this is so cool. This is another type of hibiscus. So typically when you think of hibiscus, you think of just like the tropical hibiscus. Look at this one right here. I thought these were like potato vines, but this is a some type of hibiscus here. I really like the look of it. Look at how dark the foliage is. And it is a perennial, which makes it even a plus. I would think that I could grow this in my space and have it come back year after year, because that's what happens with perennials. You know, they grow through a whole growing season, spring, summer, and fall, and then they die back in the winter, and then they will come back in the spring or late, early summer. But that is such a beautiful dark foliage plant. Let me know in the comment section, plant foliage, what you think of that. But that was one plant that really caught my attention. And then we have some oleander right over here. Now this is a variegated oleander I have been eyeing for quite some time. Now this oleander does need to be more in shade or protection from the afternoon sun. You can see that that is the actual bloom of this oleander. Really like that pink look about it. Against that cream and white variegation, I think that is absolutely stunning. Really nice looking plant there. And we have some more plants that we have available here as I pan away. But notice how Home Depot just continuously has all of these plants. We've got a bunch of Japanese boxwood. I like that as a shrub actually in my landscape. You can actually like trim it and make it a different type of shape. But let's just continue to walk here for a little bit, and then we're going to go to the next big box store. For those that are watching this video, I am curious as well. Do you shop more so at Home Depot or Lowe's, or Walmart? Which one of the big box stores do you typically get your plants, or do you just buy plants in all of the different locations? For me, I tend to go buy plants at all of the different locations, although I will go out on a limb and say that Walmart probably has the most cost-effective outdoor plants, or just plants in general. But again, you know, Home Depot, like, look at this. This is a cordyline Hawaiian tea plant, the kiwi variety that I have eyed for quite some time. This isn't a planter. What a stunning plant. Like, it has so many colors, and with the late afternoon sun, you don't see it nearly as neon green, but when it's not that golden color, it is a neon green. I do want to get this. Now, I don't know this plant ID, but I really want to get this plant as well. Look at that beautiful variegation. I would love to grow that in a container and possibly try to grow that indoors as well. But as you can see there, that is a beautiful planter in a barrel type planter. I really like that as well. And then you can see here, this is another cordyline kiwi. What do you guys think about this cordyline kiwi? I think it is spectacular. Look at all of the different colors. I just really wish you could grow cordyline tea plant long-term indoors. At least for me, I know that it's going to end up getting spider mites unless I am constantly spraying it down with neem oil. And that's just the thing though, like, I always think that if a plant requires so much care in the current environment you have, it's not always the best one. Now, I will say, you know, there are some people that grow plants that really have high humidity. They grow them in cabinets with humidifiers and stuff. I would say like anthurium, certain types of begonias, certain types of philodendron. Those are plants that do require more of that humidity, but there are some avid plant collectors that really have that time and dedication for it. For me, I'm a little bit more of a basic plant lover, so I like those easy to care for plants. And you can see here, this is not an easy to care for plant. This is a Croton petra. I love crotons because they have really cool foliage. They are not easy to grow indoors. Now, outdoors, they're fairly easy. I am actually growing mine in full sun, and it's doing very well. Now, this is a copper leaf plant that I just discovered. This one is for $19.98. I really like the look of the copper leaf plant. And the reason why I like the look of it is it's got that dark foliage. It's got, interesting variegation. It is a plant that you can grow outdoors in the grow zone 8B. So in North Dallas, you can actually put that in the ground and it will be a perennial. It'll die back and then come back. But this is another plant that I would love to just grow long-term in a container. I bought a couple of these at North Haven Gardens. And they're doing very well. I'm actually growing them in full sun, and they've got some really beautiful coloration. They are a moderate grower, and so that is another plant that I'm considering to grow in, a plant collection. There is one plant that I really want to get. It's a Graptophyllum pictum. It is a plant that's hard to find, but it is another plant that's more of like a tropical shrub. Now we are going to the big box store plant shopping at the Walmart just up the road, literally about 4 minutes away. There's this Walmart in off of Custer Road in McKinney, Texas. I really love the look of this Walmart, and you can see this is Hello McKinney. I have found so many amazing philodendron rare plants here. This is the Walmart I typically go to find my philodendron pink princess whenever they clearance them out for $5. I've been able to get philodendron ring of fire here for $7. So if you get lucky and you see that the plant vendors that are at these big box stores clearancing out plants, I have just been really lucky about it. So today I'm just going to see what plants they have available here. It's late afternoon, early evening, and I like to do my plant shopping actually in the evening or late afternoon when there's not nearly as much traffic. I try to avoid getting people on film. I want to be respectful for the people that are shopping. You don't want to just end up on YouTube without permission. But you can see here, this is a Walmart that constantly stays full. I will give them credit. Their plant merchandising is pretty good. And it did just rain. We did have a really bad storm when I filmed this, but the storm subsided. So as you know, plant foldies, I am highly dedicated to you, just as how highly dedicated you guys are to me about plant shopping videos. So I did want to come out here and show you this Walmart. Now, this is a Walmart I featured before. Notice how later in the season, a lot of these plants get sold out. But the first plant I did want to show you is a beautiful hanging basket of wax begonia. Now, wax begonia is a begonia that I never really paid attention to until this year. It is a beautiful plant, and these ones are for $12.97 in hanging baskets. So again, when it comes to Walmart, hanging baskets, plants in general, you're going to save some money at Walmart. Walmart is a really good place in terms of finding cost-effective plants. Now, I will say the only drawback is, and this is not me talking negative about big box stores, this is just out of caution. You do have to be cautious about when you buy plants from a big box store. Make sure you're inspecting the plants, make sure that the plant is fairly healthy, and make sure that you spray the plant down with some preventative neem oil or some type of spray that is going to kill any potential pests that might be hitchhiking on the plant. And then here are some beautiful vinca flowers. Vinca flowers are heat tolerant, drought tolerant, and these ones are for $3.54. So if you have a full sun area for a flower bed, this would be a perfect plant to add. They come in different varieties of colors. And then we also have these zinnia flowers that I'm going to walk up. So I love zinnia flowers. I think zinnia flowers are such a beautiful plant. They're easy to grow from seed. I've grown them so many times. I actually have a little patch of zinnia flowers that I grew just by throwing the seeds into the ground, and they were able to just germinate, sprout, and now they are blooming. I may show that also in my plant tour video with my coleus plants. So again, if you want to see my coleus plant tour, please leave that in the comment section of this video. We'll see what that engagement looks like. It may just inspire me to really produce a house plant tour. And then over here for $15.97, we have some hanging baskets of pepper plants. So I found that interesting that this year I've seen a lot of hanging baskets of like vegetable plants. Not really sure what the motive was for that, just because most I guess vegetable plants are not trailing, but there are creative ways to grow plants. I'm not knocking that, but I've never really thought to grow a vegetable plant in a hanging basket. Now over here, you can see that a lot of the area of this Walmart has been picked through. A lot of their plants have been bought up. You can see here though, this is a lantana. Love the yellow lantana right here. This isn't a hanging basket, and you can grow lantana in hanging baskets because they can trail and spread. Same thing with this begonia right here. The cool thing about it is I had that same hanging basket, but I got it on clearance for $5. So I really lucked out by walking into a Walmart when the actual plant vendor was clearancing out plants. So I thought that was super cool. And then you can see right here for $17.97, we've got a vinca plant right here with all of the flowers, different types of flower colors. So we've got white, we've got some more of a lavender color, we've got a hot pink, and it's just a really nice plant. Now again, with vincas, they are annual plants, and then you can just see that I was here a couple of days ago and they had a bunch of plants. I was able to buy a coleus wasabi for clearance at $2.50. You can see that all of those coleus have sold through except this one, and this one kind of fell over. You can see that it doesn't have it's not in its pot, so that's kind of sad that some of these plants have been just really neglected and didn't find a home. I'm gonna go ahead and put that in its planter, and then you can see there is a cut right here. Now if you were to stick this in water, within 4 to 5 days it'll root. So I'm just going to stick this into soil and maybe it'll propagate itself. The sad part is I think their fate is basically going to be in the trash, but maybe somebody might rescue those plants. So for me, it is a little bit sad to see a lot of these beautiful plants kind of end up in the trash. And that's the reason why I like to do big box store plant shopping videos. I really want to try to get people excited, get people to come out there and buy up these plants, because there is a heavy demand for plants. But I also think that we're also flooded with so many plants to pick from that some of these plants really just don't end up getting bought up. Now these are beautiful green oleander. So we saw the variegated form, and those are nice as well. And you can't help but look at how beautiful this red coleus campfire is. Now, one of my Canadian plant foldies, Alfred, ended up getting a coleus campfire. Now, this one is for $5.88. I really am excited for you, Alfred, for getting a coleus campfire. This is one of the most beautiful coleus plants, especially when they start to put on a lot of size. It gets very bushy. Mine has gotten bushy. I've been able to take so many cuttings and propagations and multiply that. Part of me just wishes I could take like a full week off just wants to do plant content and then just plant chores, plant propagation. But, you know, alas, we do have to have, you know, at least for me, I have a pretty demanding job, and, you know, that's what also funds my plant, you know, my plant obsession. So I can't really complain with that. I will say all of you watching my videos have really helped out with my plant budget. Your viewership alone helps fund my plants. So, you know, thank you again for taking the time to watch my videos. You know, the biggest way to support my channel is to hit the like button, watch the video completely, and also leave as many comments in the comment section as possible. Some of you guys have actually taken the time and have been very generous about leaving me a super sticker or a super thanks on my video. So that's one way to leave a monetary tip for me. You're not required to, but if you feel like you want to support me on my plant shopping videos with a little bit of some monetary tip, I am not going to oppose it. I would love it actually, but you are definitely not required or feel obligated to do so. I did want to thank those that have left me some surprise super stickers and super thanks on my videos. Highly appreciate it. I've been able to buy a plant or two with some of those extra tips. So plant foldies, we can fund me that way, or you can just fund me by hitting that like button. I did want to walk over here. So I always end up getting lucky seeing certain random plants. So I'm just going to be nosy. So it looks like they haven't put these out. We have some of these hanging baskets, nothing really interesting in it though. The only thing I saw that was really cool was probably this green Marantha hanging basket, and then this Hydra Helix hanging basket. But other than that, those are just the Epipremnum Ario and Pothos, and then that Rex Begonia. We're just going to keep walking over here and see what else we have. So many different plants. I tell you, there's just so many plants to pick and choose from. I really love the look of these plants. And again, it is another situation where I just tend to, you know, show you the same plants. But here it is, another one. This one is another Asiatic jasmine. This one is really trailing. Look at how it's trailing. And this one is only for $4.37. So notice how at Home Depot earlier in this video, that one was like $5.98. You can go to Walmart and literally buy it almost $1 cheaper. And that's the reason why I like to do plant shopping videos as well, to kind of give you the plant pricing so you can kind of compare and contrast what plants you can get for what price. And then over here we've got a variegated ajuga. I always show you this video. I don't know what it is about this variegated ajuga that I like. I don't know if it's just the texture of the leaves, the colors, or just the growth habit. It's just a really nice looking plant. And then I'm going to walk over here and we're going to take a look at some of these plants. Succulent plants. I'm still learning a lot about succulents. I really just need to take the time to actually learn the succulent plant ID. So this one is a Kalanchoe flapjack succulent right here by Element Plants. Look at how beautiful that is. And then we just have a bunch of assorted succulents here. Really like the look of these plants. You know, it's a plant that I would definitely buy and add into my plant collection. It's something that really does interest me. I just am not as versed about the plants. And for me, whenever I am like drawn to a certain plant, it's because I know the care tips for it, or I'm more confident about growing the plant. I am not as confident about growing like even this crown of thorns right here. It has beautiful flowers, but it's one of those situations where I have to be really comfortable about being able to grow these plants. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to pick them up. I do find this interesting. So this is a Fatsa japonica, or Japanese Aralia, for $10.97. It looks like it was mislabeled. It's called the spider's web one, but the spider's web one has more white variegation. This looks like just a green version. Again, there's nothing wrong with the green version of the Fatsa japonica. Love the look of that shape of the leaf. And then we also have this right here. So I would think that this is another crassula or a jade plant, but it is not. What a beautiful looking plant. And look at how that has that subtle red border on the leaves. I really think that's super cool. And then this one right here is a Crassula ovata for $6.96. This is just one of the common jade plants, but look at how pretty that is. I really need to add a jade plant into my plant collection. And I know some of you guys have inquired about my jade bonsai, the variegated jade bonsai. It is doing extremely well. I may have to just, you know, show you a peek of that during my coleus plant, my plant tour. So, stay tuned for that. I just hope that you guys will leave some comments in the comment section. Leave that in the comment section requesting me to do that, and I will more than likely do that. I'll be a little bit more inspired to make that video. I am a little bit shy showing you my plant collection. I do have quite a bit of plants. You would probably think I'm a hoarder as well, but if you put two and two together, it is what it is when it comes to just my plant shopping videos. Like, I am always looking at plants, and if you really follow my journey, you'll know that I will buy a plant on average every other day. I'm probably going to buy more plants on my day off Tuesday, especially when I do my collab with Janae, and hopefully Steven, I Lift Plants YouTube, will also make it out today as I do this video edit. But you can see right here, this is some salvia plants right here. Look at how beautiful this one is. I love the texture of the leaves more so than the blooms, but it does have such a beautiful look on the leaves. And I think certain textures on the leaves really enhance the plant's interest. Some plants, they have better like coloration, but sometimes the texture of the leaves, whether it's a thick waxy texture or a more delicate looking texture, that just makes it far more interesting. I mean, I always look at these coral bells, these dark foliage plants, and the thing about it is I like dark foliage plants like these coral bells. This one's for $8.77. The thing about it is, it's just a plant that you really can't grow indoors. I wish you'd be able to, but this is another plant that would really not do well indoors. This is a plant though that needs to be outdoors, more so in a shaded environment. And you can see there's just more ground covers here. I'm just gonna walk around and see what else they have over here. So we're gonna look at these ajuga. So at Home Depot, we saw those ajuga, right, for $5.98. But this is one that I talked about. So this one is another ajuga. This is only for $4.37. So if I were to add this ajuga to my plant collection, I would most likely get it from Walmart because it is cheaper. It's the same plant. This is a plant that I do want to add to my collection. This one would be the one I would buy though, because look at how much growth it's already put on. I mean, what do you think about that? Do you think it's cool? It looks more like an herb or a vegetable plant, but I just like the look of it. And this one, I might end up just buying this because look at it. It is already trailing this variegated ajuga, and notice how it is super healthy. $4.37. Look at how it's trailing. I think that is so beautiful. And you can see there's some aerial roots already happening. So I could probably cut that, put that in water, and get another free plant. So I am all about that variegation. I'm all about free plants. I'm all about plant propagation. I just think it's an amazing thing to do with plants. I love sharing plant propagations, and I may end up just doing some giveaways for some of the coleus plants that have already been able to successfully propagate. So we'll see what that looks like. But what a beautiful plant. I may come back for this if it's still around to get it. I'm in no rush to get it because I already have two variegated ajugas. What a nice looking plant. And then this one's interesting. So this one looks like a combination of a variegated ajuga and just a regular ajuga here. So you can get a 2-in-1 special. This one is also for $4.37. Nice looking ajuga plant. And again, this is another plant that most people will not think to grow as an indoor plant, but I think you can really do that. It is a plant that is more so for like ground cover. It's probably grown more so as an annual. And then you can see over here for $17.97, we've got some planters of lantana. I really like the look of this lantana as well. And actually my lantana that I planted, and they were just starters that were in like 3-inch planters, have really taken off in my landscape. So I'm super excited about that. It is a vigorous plant that grows very easily in very full sun conditions. Now I have to really clean up my flower beds. And then you can see that Walmart has just gotten all of these fresh new succulents. This is a new shipment of succulents. So I wanted to show you this. This one is an interesting one right here. This is an Echeveria Dark Moon. Look at how dark that foliage is. I really think that's a cool plant. And that one is also for $4.97. So if I was into succulents, I would totally buy a lot of these new succulents. The fact that these are freshly shipped, so they're still super healthy. Like this one right here is an Echeveria Angel's Touch, I think that's what is it? angel kissed or something. Beautiful plant. Look at how it looks like it's just glowing. I like the look of that as well. And so I just have to like do a lot more research about succulents. I didn't realize that succulents don't necessarily like super hot weather. I just assumed they were more of a desert plant, but that's not necessarily the case. So with plant videos, plant shopping videos, I have learned so much from you plant foldies, and I really appreciate all of the insights you guys have given me so far, as well as some of the plant tips I've given. You know, I typically will see plants like this. Like this is another Tradescanthia type plant. This is a teddy bear vine. I've seen a lot of this out at Walmart. So it looks like Costa Farms has like certain plants that they cycle out. And so if you're able to find a certain plant, like maybe a Snow Queen pothos, a Yesenia pothos, know that they will most likely cycle out. So it looks like they have a lot of those. This is just a Philodendron cordatum here. Now, all of these hanging baskets by Costa Farms are for $19.84. It is a plant, you know, hanging baskets from Costa Farms are amazing. They have a lot of varieties of plants. Huge fan of Costa Farms plants because they just provide so much diversity for a lot of plant lovers that may not necessarily have gotten these plants available unless Costa Farms has like mass produced them. So some people find that an issue because then it brings some of the plant pricing down for certain businesses. But truth be told, there's always going to be somebody that's going to make money off of plants. I just want to see plants more readily available for the common consumer like myself. Like these are Philodendron Pink Princess. Now, you know, 3 or 4 years ago, this would have cost like $300, $400. Now this one is only for $24.47. Now these are produced by Growers Bench. And I love the fact that they have another set of these. It looks like they just got another restock. Now I will be honest, and I would not pay full price for these Philodendron Pink Princess because I already know that within a month or two, these Philodendron Pink Princess, if they don't sell, will clearance out for $5. I've been able to buy like 3 Philodendron Pink Princess, put them in a container together, and put a moss pole. So I got like a really thick Philodendron Pink Princess plant. I've done that with a lot of these clearance philodendrons, and I really think that that's a cool way to get a really nice specimen plant. Now this is a beautiful variegated. I'm not sure if this is a Philodendron White Princess or a Philodendron White Knight. So plant foldies, leave that in the comments section. It has a beautiful white half moon variegated leaf, and that's the thing about half moon variegation. It is absolutely stunning. I'm a huge fan of it. I love that. And what else do we have here? We just got some more Philodendron Pink Princess. All about this, you know, it is another plant that I am just a huge fan of. Same thing with all of these beautiful blooming anthuriums here. So we saw some anthuriums at Home Depot earlier in the video, but you can see I like the pink ones. Now these ones are for $14.97. So, you know, anthuriums, I love the look of them. I'm not always wanting to just buy a bunch of them just because they are readily available. That's the thing about big box store plant shopping. You will always run into certain plants, and I have become more versed about what plants I see. Now this one looks like a beautiful Philodendron White Princess right here. This one is for $24.97. Beautiful plant. It's got a nice large leaf. My Philodendron White Princess is doing extremely well on its moss pole, and I'm just really happy of that I was able to get one. I mean, it was really shocking that I was able to find it for that price a couple months back. And then you can see right here, Philodendron Ring of Fire. I don't know if they just had a bunch of tissue culture Ring of Fires growing for the last 1.5 or 2 years, but you can see that they have just released a ton of these. I do love this planter. So that's kind of more up my alley, that simple matte finish planter, simple texture. Really like the look of that as well. Gorgeous looking plant, and I really think that that would be an amazing plant to you know, for anybody to add into their plant collection. But as I pan away here, so many plants to pick from at Walmart, and then all of these are by Garden Expert Plants. So that's really Walmart's name brand for Costa Farm plants at a cost-effective price. This one is in a 6-inch planter for $9.97. Beautiful Dracaena lemon lime or some type of Dracaena plant. Really like the look of this plant. Again, the only plant pest I have seen on Dracaenas would be mealybugs, but other than that, that is such an easy to care for plant. Again, it tolerates lower light conditions. This, on the other hand, is a Dieffenbachia maculata for $9.97. So this is a plant that would be a little bit more challenging to grow indoors or just indoors in general, because it is a plant that requires a lot more bright light, and it is susceptible to spider mites. So you just have to really watch out for that plant. You want to make sure that you are giving it the right conditions. And then you can see as I pan away over here, we've got a bunch of Epipremnum aureum, golden pothos. These ones are also for $9.97. That's not a bad price at all, actually, for a 6-inch planter of pothos. I love pothos plants in the sense that they're easy to grow, they're easy to propagate, they can tolerate lower light conditions, and again, they're easy to propagate. You can literally take cuttings, put them in water, and they will root. They root very easily, and you can multiply your plant collection that way. And that's just one way to save money on plants, is through plant propagation. You can also see here, this is a cuddly cactus. I think it's extremely cute. What a cute looking cactus. And then you can see right here, this one is for $17.97. It's in a terracotta planter. I do like the terracotta color, the look of it. I'm okay with that texture, although I would have preferred it to be just more of a simple texture. I kind of wish that these plants right here, like this one, I think is some type of philodendron. I don't think it's a boletier, but it's another uncommon philodendron. So I'll see if I can get that in the plant IDs, but notice how beautiful that is. I love the elongated leaves. These are by Growers Bench again. So Growers Bench just, has a bunch of these really cool looking plants. I like them a lot in the sense that, they are cost effective. Now that one is for $24.47. But when you think about how much some of these philodendrons cost from, online sellers, they're a little bit more pricey. And you can see right here, $17.97. This is another alocasia. This is an Alocasia Milo Light. Really like the look of this alocasia. It is one that has really thick, leathery, textured leaves. Beautiful plant. It's a plant that I would definitely, I have added into my collection, although I'm not going to lie, I have neglected it, so it's not looking as great. That's the thing about going to these plant shopping videos. I just get excited about buying plants, and sometimes, you flood your plant collection with so many plants that it becomes a little bit more how shall I say, just overwhelming. But here is a beautiful Philodendron mayoi, another plant that was very uncommon, a couple years back. Now you can find it at a big box store like Walmart. So that's the thing, plant foldies. If you are looking for those rare or uncommon plants, just wait a while. Be patient, wait a while. The plant pricing will go down, because all plant pricing, and you can see that trend, will go down because they become more readily available. So for those that are all about those variegated alocasias, just give it another year or two and you'll be able to get a hold of those. Same thing with all of those different types of variegated Monstera Thai constellation mutations. Just wait a while and you'll be able to get those plants. I mean, heck, you're able to see Monstera Thai constellations at big box stores now. And so just patience is a virtue. Time will definitely get you those plants. You just have to be at the right place at the right time. And for me, I've been lucky to be able to go to these plant shopping, go plant shopping and actually be at the right place at the right time, because I've been able to find some clearance plants that were still fairly healthy. But as you can see, I have panned over here and shown you guys a lot of these trending tropical plants. You got that ZZ Raven plant, that Scindapsus trubii Moonlight. This one is an Epipremnum aureum lemon meringue. I really like the look of this plant as well. Gorgeous plant. All of these trending tropical plants are for $19.84 in a self-watering planter. So if you are like me that struggles to take care of plants because you don't have the watering down correctly, self-watering plants help. Now this is a cool plant find, $14.97 in a self-watering planter. These Ficus audrey are phenomenal. I love this Ficus audrey. I love the look of the leaves. I love the texture. I love the veins. All of it I love, and it is another plant that will grow very large as well. It can become a tree form. So if you buy this ficus plant, for instance, this is another plant that you have to plan for the space. It will definitely not stay that size forever. Give it about a year or so, and it will become like 3 to 4 feet tall if you just upsize the pot, give it that bright light that it needs, and even some added humidity, and it will do extremely well. But as I pan away here, you can see there's just so many different plants at Walmart. I'm just going to just walk over here and just show you some more plants. You've got to love that Monstera Peru right there by Trending Tropicals. And then I want to show you this right here. I mean, this Walmart, it's pretty full. I love that this Walmart is pretty full. We've got this Ficus lyrata here, and then this Alocasia reginae. I think that's what you call it. Now that is the Alocasia I was talking about, where it died back all the way down and now it's pushing out some new growth. So I'm super excited about that. I think I'm going to push it out and actually put it outside to grow outside. You know, my solution for plants that are a little bit more finicky, if you put them outside in a shaded area that gets like morning sun, they typically bounce back. So that's like my solution for certain plants that need rehabbing. And you can see right here, we've got an Alocasia, or not an Alocasia, Aglonema red Siam that has lost its soil. That's unfortunate. And then we have a bunch of Sansevieria trifasciata right over here. But Begonia maculata, I have one of these. It's doing very well for me. I'm growing it outdoors in a shaded area next to my coleus plants, and even more plants right over here. So this is a super full plant selection at this Walmart. I love it. It is one of my go-to Walmarts in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Now this is in North McKinney off of Custer Road. It's literally on the border of Prosper, Texas. And this is a place that I often frequent. And it's because I see beautiful bromeliads like this. Now this is for $14.97. Thanks to Costa Farms for that. Look at how beautiful that is. Look at the undersides of the leaves. So much coloration. I am all about this. I love bromeliads. I have become a fan. I haven't added a lot of bromeliads. I only have one that I bought for $2.47 on clearance, and it is doing extremely well. But what a beautiful bromeliad we have over here. And I'm just going to pan over and keep showing you some more plants. If you're a fan of like large foliage plants, look at these beautiful Monstera deliciosas for $24.97. I actually bought one from this location because I just wanted a green Monstera deliciosa. I repotted it in a 12-inch planter just so I can see about getting more growth for it. My Monstera are doing extremely well. I have some propagations that I neglected and left into the garage over the winter, but now they are pushing out new growth. I love the look of Monstera deliciosa in the green form. While some people think it's just a basic plant, it is a plant that is classic. It's a plant that will give you a lot of new growth. And then you can see right over here, Costa Farms has a bunch of little exotic angel starter plants. I really like that a lot. These ones are for $4.97. This one is the Juanita Fittonia. Now with Fittonias, they are more humidity loving plants, so you want to make sure that you give it that humidity. You definitely don't want their soil to dry out completely. Here is a Galaxy False Aurelia. Mine didn't do very well because I underwatered it, and so I ended up dying, but this is also for $4.97. And then we just have more exotic angel plants here. Like this one is a beautiful one right here. This is another Rex begonia. I love that metallic shine on it, the pink leaves, and also the underside of the leaves have that red veining. There's just so much foliage interest on these Rex begonias. Now I haven't had the best luck with Rex begonias, and then you can just see right over here we have another Belgian waffle plant. Now I have a hanging basket that's growing outside, and it's actually doing better outside as compared to indoors. Waffle plants in general need to be they need to keep their soil moist. They don't really want to dry out completely. So this is another plant that's not going to be the best candidate for the type of growing conditions I do in my plant care routines. This is a Fittonia pink wave. It's another plant that I didn't do very well with, but you know, fortunately I got it on clearance, so I didn't lose a lot of money from that. But look at how large the leaves are on this particular Fittonia pink wave. What a beautiful looking plant. And then we also have this spider plant Bonnie. So the spider plant Bonnie, what a cute looking plant. I just love how it's curly and it does push out a lot of babies. So this is another plant that would be fun to share because you can propagate all of those little babies off of it. And what else do we have? We just got a lot of plants. You've seen a lot of plants today on this plant shopping video. It is a little bit longer. I just wanted to give you guys a little bit longer content because if you are watching this during a live premiere, we have more time to chat and interact. And for those that are watching this during a live premiere and haven't said hello, please please feel free to say hello. Also, make sure you are hitting that like button for this video. It really does help boost the engagement of this video, and we'll be able to go push it out to more plant lovers like yourself. It really does help my plant shopping videos grow. And as I pan away here, all of these plants are just gorgeous. You see that there's more Monstera deliciosas right over here. So I'm just going to walk around and show you all of the other Monsteras that they have, and just how they have really plant style and just merchandise it. And you can see here they've got some really nice planters. Now the planter on the very right for $17.48, these metallic or not metallic, but these almost concrete looking planters are actually plastic. I really like the look of that. I do like these minimalistic planters. I think minimalism on planters really just enhance the actual plant and doesn't really distract from the plant's beauty. That's just my opinion. That would be a planter I would use for like a ficus lyrata, some large foliage plant. But as you can see here, they are using these circular plant stands. I really love the look of it. So you can see that we have a bunch of like Majesty palms right here, Monstera deliciosas, and a bunch of hanging baskets of Epipremnum aureum. Pothos plants, these are for $9.97. I really like the look of that as well. And as you spin around here, there's just so many foliage, large foliage plants. Right here, hanging baskets, Garden Expert. These are sourced out by Costa Farms, $9.97 for these Epipremnum aureum golden pothos. Love this plant, easy to care for plant. If you don't have one, add one to your collection. It is one of the easiest house plants to grow. It is probably one of the house plants that most people start out with. So just check that that plant for your bucket list. And then obviously all of these Monstera deliciosas are for $24.97. Look at how beautiful that leaf is. Beautiful fenestration. And for those that don't know what that term fenestrate means, it means that the plant has split its leaves. Really nice looking plant. And as that Monstera deliciosa matures, it will just look even more beautiful. But as you can see right here, gorgeous, gorgeous looking plants. We've got a bunch of ficus lyrata or fiddle fig leaf trees. Now with these fiddle fig leaf trees, plant foldies, you already know you have to give it a lot of bright light. It likes consistency. So if you bring this plant into your home, find a brightly lit area and then leave it there. Don't move it around, because if you move it around, it will drop its leaves. It doesn't like to be moved around a lot. So just definitely make sure you are paying attention to that, okay? That's what my plant, my plant care tips would be for that particular plant. And then you can see right over here, we've got a bunch of ZZ plants, Raven ZZ, and then just a green ZZ form. These plants, again, are extremely easy to take care of. They can tolerate lower light conditions. So that is another plant that I would recommend growing in your houseplant collection. So definitely add that to your collection as well. They tolerate lower light conditions. Now, the only thing is you don't want to overwater it, because that will rot its roots, and that's just not good for the plant. It will definitely die if you do that. And the last part of the video I wanted to highlight was these beautiful plants right here for $5.48. Really like the look of these exotic angel plants by Costa Farms. It looks like they just got a restock. And this is another plant that I want to get. Mine didn't do very well. The one that I actually rescued for $1 at Lowe's. And the reason being is I just didn't water it as often. And it is really embarrassing for me to talk about how I've just killed plants because I just didn't water it. That is the most basic function with the plants. I am doing better, but I do want to get this because it is a beautiful plant right here. That's the Balfouriana Aralia. Beautiful plant. And then I also want to get this. This is another plant that I am a big fan of. This is a Dracaena plant as well. This is the Dracaena Florida Beauty. Look at how beautiful that plant is. And then if you've ever been to the Fort Worth Botanical Gardens, They have a beautiful Dracaena Florida Beauty like this as well, but it's growing in the ground and it's gotten very large. What a beautiful looking plant. Look at that variegation. That white speckling is absolutely stunning. And that's the thing about Costa Farms plants. If you don't want to get like a large plant and you want to just get a starter plant, these are priced well. I mean, $5.48, and it's got a nice planter. It's a catch pot. The actual grower pot is with the plant, but this one is a red ruby Photonia. This one is also a ruby red Photonia, I'm sorry, for $4.48. And then we've got a Juanita Photonia right here. Beautiful looking plant. I'm a fan of it. It is another plant that I would definitely add to my collection. We've got a Epipremnum aria Marble Queen Pothos, also for $5.48. This has some pretty good variegation. Really like the look of that. Now, in order for it to maintain that variegation, you already know you've got to give it a lot of bright indirect light. And then another beautiful Dracaena Florida Beauty. This one is probably the one I'm going to end up buying. I am going to buy 2 plants today. I wasn't planning on buying plants, but as you can see, sometimes these plants speak to you. Sometimes you just want to buy the plant. Sometimes it's a bad idea, but you know what? You only live once, and if you like the plant, if it brings you joy, go ahead and buy it. This is a Croton banana. What a beautiful looking Croton as well. So there's just different varieties of starter plants. And then this is another Croton I may eventually buy. This is a Croton bush on fire. Now with Crotons, any type of Croton is going to need a lot of light. It needs consistency, so you don't want to underwater it, but you don't also want to overwater it. So just really take a look at the soil. I would say let the soil dry out completely and then water it immediately. This is a Philodendron hederaceum Brazil. That is an easy to care for plant. Another Croton, this is probably the most common Croton you'll see at a big box store, and that is a Croton Petra for $5.48. Plant foldies, what do you think about all of these exotic angel plants? Do you collect them? Because I definitely do. I definitely want to add some more again into my houseplant collection. There's a couple that just haven't done very well for me, and that's truthfully because of straight up neglect. And you know, that's the part about plant care. You really have to dedicate yourself to know that just because you buy a plant, it does need the part which is called the plant care. And you know, I haven't been the best at it, but I am getting better at it. And you know, that's the thing about it. It's not that I got a lot of plant pests. It's literally I just didn't water them, and that's just terrible to admit. But I like to be transparent in all of my plant shopping videos. I want you guys to get to know me, know that you know, anybody who does like YouTube or Instagram posts on plants, the plant journey is not always perfect. I'm definitely not perfect in my plant journeys. I will say that these plants are beautiful. This Walmart is very good about keeping their plants full and merchandise, and I really appreciate that. So plant foldies, what did you guys think of today's plant shopping video? Please make sure you are hitting that like button. As always, please subscribe to my channel. And this is Richie at Growfold. I will definitely see you tomorrow. Bye.